Establishing battlefield control. Stand by.
Okay. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can everybody hear me all right? Testing out some new mic settings, hotkeys, and things like that, so just need to make sure everyone can hear me. All right, thank you, Luke Danger, for confirming in the best way possible. Welcome back, everybody, to the HHC... Too many C's. Welcome back to the HAC... I can't say it. Welcome to my channel. We're live streaming today, back with the Nod campaign. Yes. And we're going to restart from the beginning because I waited too long and I'm being attacked. So, and we're going to get that artillery. From what I remember, whenever I played this game as a kid, I always picked the new Detroit version of the mission. So, I don't know if I've ever played this version of the mission before. Hopefully Trevin Lane will join us at some point so we can get back to work. For those of you who forgot what we're doing, we have finished all of the stuff that happens canonically before the GDI campaign, and we're now officially what I believe to be in the what-if portion of the Nod campaign, where we have to capture Umagan for reasons. I don't actually remember the reasons why we have to capture Umagan. I have to go back and watch those. Okay. Luke Danger says, remember correctly, the gimmick of the mission is you need to use the advanced artillery at maximum range to knock out the MSAs. Will do. Alright, let's restart the mission. Yes, it's the OP version of it. Let's go. Alright, let's get you up here. Let's move you up here. Nastologic says, yeah, still sucks that I missed the last stream. No worries, there's plenty more streams to go. Luke Danger says, if you get too close, instant mission fail. Ask for why. She potentially has the tasks after killing one of Slavic's goon in the crash. That's right. I remember now. Okay, so I use the artillery to destroy the mobile sensor arrays, get closer, and then get Umagan. Seems easy enough. Now watch as I fail massively. How's everybody doing? Hope you're all having a good week. I'm having a pretty great week. I had a pretty good Halloween. How was your guys' Halloween? Luke Danger says, in the OP version, just put a big hole in your base location. It did. Astrologic says, at least it was cool to see you struggling on the final one. Yeah, that's one of the toughest missions. I remember that as a kid being something that I got stuck on for a long time. I did beat the entire Nod version of the campaign when I was a kid. Gosh, the music is so good in this.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
All right, let's inch our way forward with the artillery.
Construction complete. New construction options.
Man.
Construction complete. Building.
If you guys want to know what I've been doing, I have been getting neck deep in lore about when the First Tiberium War took place. I've been all over the Wayback Machine trying to look at old Westwood posts and website stuff, Renegade things, and oh my gosh. Like, I'm not going to bury the lead. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, why did the idea that the 2020 date for the First Tiberium War ever might have been likely ever catch on? There really is only one legitimate piece of evidence, and that's the Renegade manual. Everything from the producers of Westwood, and I'm talking like co-founder levels, interviews in 1998, 1999, and 2000, all point to them wanting the war to take place in the late 1990s. Anything else either comes from things that are implied, not stated outright, but implied in the EA era from Tiberium Wars, and extra material that probably isn't canon, or yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, there's barely any evidence. Like, I have a section on all the evidence for the 1990s, and it took like 4 pages of my script, and then I went through all the evidence for the 2020 date, and it's literally half a page. I thought there was more. But yeah, and it shouldn't bug me, but it does bug me that, like, it's even a debate. I think it's one of, like, the 3 or 4 hills in pop culture that I'm willing to die on. Shock Culture says, I played the Firestorm mission with the cult and temples today. I'd like to know what the designer was smoking. It's a great mission. I love that mission. I love it so much. I love that we get introduced to this crazy Tiberian cult, and then we just never hear anything more about it. Luke Danger says, vein hole pollen? Oh, me? Yeah. No, I'm a little under the weather today. Ugh, I feel a lot better than I did earlier in the week, but still on the mend. Get the radar. Chase Baker says, what I love about the tips on not artillery, pinpoint accuracy, and leaves a big holes behind. Nastologic says, I remember I used to dress myself as a Smurf with a white hat, pants, and blue shirt. Clever, clever. Recon 1, welcome back to the chat. Hello, there is one thing I managed to command and conquer today, my mind against ADHD for now. I feel you, man. As far as I'm aware, I don't suffer from ADHD, but I got other issues. Astrologic, both the TV series and the 2 movies. Oh, we got a Smurf fan in the house. Hardcore Smurf fan. Luke Danger, yeah, I honestly feel like a few people really wanted 2020 for some reason and presented it well enough to sound authoritative, but it doesn't have much behind it. Yeah, no, I really thought there was more behind it, but once I really dug into it, I was like, there's barely anything. I think the one thing that I really want right now, and that I'm kind of hoping against hope that I get before I post my video, before I finish making it, is I would love one of the developers of Westwood to just come out and say, no, that's a mistake. It was never retconned. We want it to be the late 1990s. And I've made some efforts. Joe Bostic, if it was Joe Bostic, commented on the video I did summarizing his live chat stuff. A bunch of people interacted with him. I think there's like 11 replies to that comment. So even though it was 3 months later, I commented asking him very much about the First Tiberium War and that whole thing. And he hasn't responded. I don't know if he'll ever see it. It's a long shot. So, and I also reached out to one of the co-authors of the Renegade Manual. She didn't answer either. I'm guessing she just wants to be left alone and have her privacy, so I'm respecting that. And then I also reached out to some of the people in the Command & Conquer Discord who I know have connections to the founders of Westwood and have done interviews, and pretty much just politely said, hey, if you ever are interviewing them again, if you get a chance to ask a question about when the First Tiberium War, I'd really appreciate it. And he was super nice. He was like, yeah, absolutely, if I ever get the chance, I will. So maybe I'll get a definitive answer. Maybe I'll be the one to give the community the definitive answer on this. I would really hope if I could have that be the capstone to my video of, like, not only is there all this evidence, but look, I got definitive proof from the developers. That would be a dream come true. If I could do that, that would set my mind at ease. All right, let's build some more tick tanks. Trevin Lane, hello, welcome back to the chat. Glad to have you here. Luke Danger says, no, the Vein-Hole Pollen was in response to Shock Combo asking what the devs were on when they made that temple. Oh, the Temple of Testament. Yeah, that too. Trevor Lane says, this is as far as I got in the Nod campaign. I won't be much help here. Yeah, no worries. Luke Danger gave me some tips. This doesn't seem like it's going to be too hard other than the instant fail state if you get detected by the mobile sensor arrays. So I just got to make sure I don't trigger that. But otherwise, I'm just walking their artillery forward. Let's see. Nastologic says, I also caught a little bit of a cold just recently. Even a runny nose caught up to me. Now drinking tea with honey to heal myself step by step. Typical weather in Otter. Yeah, I need to drink more tea. I'm kind of a mint tea guy myself. I don't know what your guys' preferred teas are. Ugh, one sec.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
Okay, I'm back. Alright. Recon 1 says, I beat the Firestorm GDI campaign on hard. Everything seems to have lots of hit points. Also, I Sonic attacked the final boss. No more boss fight. Just directly kill the final boss. Dang. I usually use an ion cannon over a bridge. It's just more fun. Alright, we'll send one of you guys up here to just explore. Yeah, we'll put some lasers. Alright, Benjamin Delapine, welcome to the chat. Glad to have you here. As far as I'm aware, I think this is your first time here. Trevor Lane prefers green tea. Mark Kalinix prefers Earl Grey, hot, just like Captain Picard. Trevor Lane usually prefers his green tea iced. Benjamin Delapine says, beware, the mobile sensor arrays have a large vision. Ah, gosh, dang it. No, can you... I forgot how terrifying Titans are if you're not playing with them on your side. Beat him with numbers! There we go. There we go. Alright, let's move over here. Let's get you over here as well. Nastology says, no way, I'm with you. I also prefer a peppermint flavor, as that one helps things feel better. Yeah, I tend to have stomach issues as well, and mint tea really seems to help me settle my stomach. That was what Snow Mom always recommended when I had a tummy ache. Blue Danger says, I wonder how many 404s Cabal had when his core defender gets destroyed by a destroyed bridge. Benjamin Delapine says, second time here. Oh, well, good to have you back. We got more people up here. Ah, just Wolverines. Not a problem. Recon 1 says, because vein holes can spew out floaters, I think vein holes are polyps for the jellyfish-like creatures. Is it canon that the vein holes are the spawners for the floaters? I thought the floaters were just mutant versions of, like, squids and other sea life. Okay, it looks like I can get across here, so let's get the artillery up here. And we'll make you 4. Mark Kalanick says, CS and my name sound like CH and Chosen. So it's Mark Kalanich. Mark Kalanich? Am I saying that right?
Sir, on my way.
Luke Danger says, one nice feature of the mobile sensor array is giving you a warning. Not that it tells you much, but it's better than most other scouting options. It does. Alright, so we're getting close.
Sir, on my way. On my way.
Nope, nothing close enough to actually shoot.
Waiting orders.
Okay, ow, ow. Ugh, sorry guys, my whole body hurts because, I went to the gym recently. And,
Yes, sir.
hadn't been in a while, so everything's sore.
Your command. Scan initiated.
Oh, okay, there's nothing over here.
Proceeding. Sir? Unit reporting. Sir?
Ugh. Trevor Lane says, there is a bridge on the west side, goes straight to the sensor on the side. I believe I found it.
Orders received. Unit ready. Sir. Orders received. Orders received. Unit ready.
Harvester under attack.
Ah, crap. Do I have more tick tanks? I do.
Right on my way. Moving out.
And boom. Scratch 1. Get to place, sir. Astrologic says, at least not a peppermint flavored candy, since those could get me a little too high and can't stop laughing constantly, so I gotta watch out for those. That feels like you should get that checked, Astrologic. I don't think that's a normal reaction to peppermint.
Unit ready.
Alright, I can't go over this way. I'll see if there's another way around.
Unit ready. Yes, sir.
Let me save. Mark Kalanich says, yes, that is the correct way to pronounce it. Alright, if I start mispronouncing it, let me know. I tend to do that over time. Chase Baker says, some Firestar maps folders do spawn from vein holes. Oh, interesting. That has some interesting lore implications. Luke Danger says, if I remember correctly, vein holes aren't said to be the source of any Tiberium fauna, though I'd not be surprised if it was possible to be a production structure for Tiberium critter units, just not in game. Recon 1 says, I saw a gif on Reddit that a vein hull releasing a mature Tiberium floater.
Moving out.
Wonder if that has any basis in lore. Benjamin Dillapine says, the 3 artillery in this mission are the only ones in this mission I remember. Well, yeah, I can't make more artillery, so
Unit ready.
I better not lose those. And I don't have a mobile fixie-fix repair unit, so
Yes, sir.
I gotta be extra careful. Luke Danger says, too bad radii aren't display, so you know how close you get before GA knows you're there. Trevor Lane says, you can hit the northern east sensor from the cliffs on the west with the artillery. Alright, let's get moving. You guys not one?
Unit reporting. Infantry reporting. Unit conservative. Yes, sir. Awaiting order. Yes, sir. Unit reporting.
Alright.
Unit reporting.
I love how Nod can always attack civilians. I think there's a few cases where that isn't the case, where they're technically not civilians, but I assume these are the equivalents of a GDI blue zone. And I use that term loosely, given how much Tiberium there is here. Okay. I grew up playing Commandos, guys. I'm a save monkey.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this guy's the next guy. Let's see what we can do. Come over here.
Unit reporting. Sir. Unit ready.
This must have been so crazy for people who grew up playing with the artillery in Red Alert 1 and Tiberian Dawn to suddenly have artillery that has a much bigger range and is so ridiculously effective.
Orders received.
Okay, can we hit from here? Probably not, but... Oh, we're close. Can we just straight up move there? Probably can. Alright, you say silos needed, but all I hear is not enough tanks.
Construction complete.
Whoop, whoop. All sensor eraser down, full area map generation. Wait, is that actually the case? Shoot. Shoot. Oh, did I destroy this one? I thought I... Oh, that's all of them. Okay. Huh. I really thought there were more. Yeah, Luke Danger, I thought there was a third one. Was there not a third one?
Unit ready.
Lugan has been detected in the northeast quadrant. She is boarding a train bound for the GDI base to the south. Okay. I'm assuming there's not a time thing. That if she moves, I just get her at the base where she goes to.
Unable to comply.
I'm aware, Cabal.
Unit ready.
Alright, well, the train's moving. I think she's headed to the hospital. There she is.
Unit ready.
Alright. So, how do I capture her precisely? I don't exactly know what I'm supposed to do to capture her. Yeah, Trevor Lane, yeah, this would be a yellow zone, but I also don't believe that the zoning system was put in place until after the Second Tiberium War.
Orders received. Yes, sir.
Ugh. Shock Combo says, oh yeah, you didn't play Tib Dawn first. Seeing the old ruined base was amazing. And lighting the ragdoll physics on the crashing aircraft I remember being impressive. Yeah, I did play Red Alert 1 growing up, so the jump in tech was not lost on me. Destroy the engine of the train. Got it. Thanks, Trevin Lane. If the train leaves the map, you lose. Does she jump back in and try to leave? If so, then just have the artillery take care of it.
Unit ready. On my way. Unit reporting. Unit ready.
Okay. Benjamin Dilapine says, personally, AI have a large attack with the motorbike on the train. Yeah, that could work too. Alright. Thank you guys for giving me the advice. Sorry I haven't been looking at the chat as well as I should. Okay, get him, get him, get him, get him. We got it. Cool. They're not going to attack Umagon, are they? I don't want to lose the mission just because something stupid like that.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Unit lost.
Imagine how terrifying it would be to be attacked by a Nod force filled with cyborgs. One thing that's kind of interesting, I feel like, in this era of Nod, is I feel like the parity between GDI and Nod isn't as stark as it normally is. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like in Tiberian Dawn and Tiberian Wars, Nod is still very much like the ragtag, hit-and-run kind of people. Whereas in Tiberian Sun, I feel like they're a lot closer to being just as strong as GDI. Okay. Lou Danger says, which is more terrifying, to fight cyborgs or to get captured by Nod knowing they'll make you a cyborg? That's a good question. Did Nod do that? I thought all of their people that they turned into cyborgs were like Nod fanatics who volunteered. I thought it wasn't until Cabal that they forcibly like take their enemies alive and turn them into cyborgs. I could be wrong. All right, moving on to the next one, guys. Can you guys hear me? I'm not sure if my mic is muted or not. Is my mic muted? Oh, you can hear me. Okay, good, good, good. All right, let's get moving.
Sickening specimen.
Strong nonetheless. Prisoner, I will not ask again. Where is the Tacitus? You have gained much from the technology of peace, mutant. Why betray your brotherhood?
Divination is a lie. It's killing us. Kane is using you.
Terminate the bitch.
Wait! She may know something.
What is she doing?
She's pinching her carotid artery against her spine. I've seen it before in the camps.
But she'll pass out.
She'll die. Intervene! Wait. The tracking device has been activated. She'll take us where we want to go.
Umagon has led us to the mutant headquarters here in the north. You will attack posing as a GDI force. The mutants will blame GDI, and we will gain their support.
We must first capture a small defense initiative outpost here and use it to manufacture our attack units.
Good luck, GDI.
Okay. I remember this mission. This was super fun. A little behind the scenes thing. This mission was actually going to be one that I was going to cover in a video essay that I didn't end up doing, which was studying all of Nod's false flag attacks with an emphasis on this mission and comparing it to false flags in history. I might still make that video someday, but I didn't get around to making it. Luke Danger, yeah. They said that Nod had been using captured mutants for cyborgs early on, then evidently it was applicable to all humans, and Cabal used some sort of slave circus to override their free will in Firestorm. Good point. Oh, Venant of Light, welcome back to the chat. Hail once more, Man of Snow. I know I'm a bit late, but hope things are well and all the best. I see you once again. I cannot give you my usual motivational line, so just enjoy. Yeah, soon enough, when we finish this, we'll be moving on to the Firestorm campaign, and then I'll be back to playing GDI. Chase Baker says, Slavic's big brain play. Yes. I just love how competent Slavic is. I think that's something I miss in a lot of villains in fiction these days. I think that was kind of... I just miss competent villains, you know? I feel like if you're going to make a good villain, one of the keys is you have to give them a likable quality. Not necessarily that they're a good person or they're a charming person, but give them a positive quality, like they're competent at their job, they don't give into emotion, or something like that that makes them, you know... I don't know if I'm communicating this right, but that's kind of what I think makes a compelling villain, even if they're despicable or they're to be hated. Like, you can still hate a villain and still find them as like, oh, that's a good villain. They did villainy well. Luke Danger, No Mercy, supervillain version of Nod prepares to do a false flag slaughter civilians. On brand. Yeah, I caught a little bit of No Mercy as well. That was cool. Trevin Lane says, the old tracking device on the escape prisoner trick. You speaking from personal experience, Trevin Lane? Videos Crow's Nest, welcome back to the chat. Umagon fell for the classic blunder of not checking her pockets or the back of her coat to throw away the tracking device, or stick it on a roaming Tiberian fiend and said not a trip. I love the implication of Video Crow's Nest that it wasn't like implanted as a subdermal implant, but like it was literally like Slavic just slipped it in her coat pocket and she just didn't find it. Shock Combo says, I like this one. Yeah. Nastologic, seriously, there has to be some kind of connection between Umagon and Xana. that we should know about. We may never know what exactly. I think Oksana just hates mutants overall, but I do like your theory that there's some sort of personal beef between the two. Maybe they both like the same boyfriend. Who knows? Benjamin Delapine says, or Oksana's parents were killed by mutants. Ooh, that's a good theory. That's a good theory. Vivid of Light says, but villains have to be both pathetic and yet somehow sympathetic. Modern writing tropes must prevail. Yeah, I'm not saying a pathetic villain can't work if that's what you're going for, but I feel like a lot of them try to do pathetic because I think they see a lot of, like, parallels to, like, real life stuff, and they don't want people to sympathize with them. I think that was kind of a reaction to the Walter White thing, where Walter White was, I think, written to be a villain, but a lot of people kind of mistakenly thought he was a hero or an anti-hero and tried to emulate him. And then writers were like, ooh, that's bad. We need to make it extra clear that this guy's despicable and not likable, and you shouldn't relate to him. Which I think, that's just a vocal minority. You should treat your content, consumers, your customers as adults, and just do that. Like, any person with a brain can tell that Walter White was a very petty, prideful, evil man. I don't need you to tone down the quality of your writing to make sure that I get it. Like, I just want to be treated as an adult when consuming media, I guess, is my point. Like, I get it. You don't have to be... Yeah, I made my point. Trevor Lane says, it's always important to make a villain a bit of competence. It makes the hero shine more. Exactly. You get it, Trevor Lane. Obviously, it depends on the kind of story you're telling, but for the most part, I agree. Benjamin Delapine, that's why Slavic is competent and an excellent villain. Yeah, that's what I like about Slavic. Slavic isn't just competent, and he is very devoted to Kane, but it's not a weird... it's not Alexa Kovacs level of devotion. It's a competent, devotion. It's not a fanatical devotion necessarily. At least not in the same way that Alexa Kovacs is. I think that's also why I liked... I'm blanking on her name. The commander from Tib Wars. The one that got betrayed. Killian Qatar. That's why I like her as well. I think she's a very rational, devoted follower of Kane. Astrologic. Well, we may never know exactly, but looking at this now, it's not far-fetched. It could be wrong. Trevor Lane says, it dates back to Star Wars. It is how the Empire found the Rebel base. That's right. Trevor Lane says, probably earlier the radio shows and comic books, but that's the earliest I saw it. Yeah, that's probably the earliest version I can remember. Benjamin Delapine says, the problem is villains that are now trying to be sympathetic in the end becoming boring and standard. Yeah, I'm fine with a sympathetic villain every now and again, and I think they should be sympathetic. Maybe not sympathetic, I think is the wrong word. You should understand why they're doing what they're doing, but that doesn't mean it should be a good reason. Like, okay, I just want to be very clear. I am not, just because the internet is stupid, I am not in any way defending the Nazis, but what I'm saying is Hitler had reasons for what he was doing. That doesn't make him a good person. I think a lot of people think that, oh, like Thanos, he had understandable reasons for what he was doing, therefore he's an anti-hero. I'm like, what are you talking about? Pretty much every villain in all of history except serial killers had reasons for what they were doing. Understandable reasons. Just because you have understandable reasons or a tragic backstory doesn't make you not evil. Germany got screwed over by the Versailles Treaty after World War I, and it screwed over Germany's economy, and Hitler found a way to fix that, at least in the short term. Obviously, being at war with everyone forever is a stupid long-term commitment to make your country just get steamrolled by everyone else who doesn't want to live in a world with bullies. But my point being is I feel like people are too quick to label some fictional villain as not a villain or not truly evil because they have sympathetic reasons or, a traumatic backstory. And it's like lots of villains throughout history have had traumatic backstories. That doesn't excuse what they do. I feel like that's such a destructive way of looking at evil to think that, a person's past justifies it. I mean, it can make you understand evil. I think that's fine to have context, but I feel like a lot of times that crosses over into excusing their actions, and that's when I just can't get on board. Sorry, you got me in another one of my rants. I assume that's why you're here, or at least half of you are here at this point, since I keep doing it. Vivid of Light says, even Kovacs outmaneuvered Kane and worked against him for his own good. Yeah, that's what made Kovacs kind of fascinating to me in her own way. Vivid of Light says she was less rational but had her qualities. Luke Danger says, yeah, Slavic was devoted, but he clearly thinking in pragmatic and secular terms, even if it's still clearly a faithful devotee, given that he leads the Black Hand of Nod. Really fun villain. Absolutely. Love Slavic. Trevor Lane, understandable. They don't need to be likable. They don't need good reasons. They need understandable reasons. Exactly. You got it. You got exactly what I was trying to say, Trevor Lane. Luke Danger, paraphrasing tech from Bad Batch, just because you understand them does not mean you agree with them. Exactly. Video Crow's Nest. Many people make the mistake of confusing explaining or understanding something with promoting, agreeing with, and praising something. Exactly. That's kind of the problem I'm seeing with, like, history channels on YouTube. A lot of them are struggling to, you know, talk about the Nazis or Hitler or other stuff like that because they get immediately banned by YouTube. And they're not pro-Nazi at all. A lot of the channels that I follow are very apolitical, very balanced, very objective. That's why I love them. And, you know, even channels like Armchair Historian and some of the other ones that are, you know, very apolitical and just trying to show the history, they have to, you know, create their own, you know, sites and things for people to get the uncensored version, because YouTube will just throw the ban hammer down the minute you say anything about Nazis. And it's like, they're not being pro-Nazi. If anything, by explaining exactly how it happened and how they worked, you're able to better ensure the future against Nazis. That's kind of the whole point. YouTube is just such a mess. Such a mess. Like, half of me wonders, are there, like, actual pro-Nazi people in YouTube? Just because, like, this is having the effect of, like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. All right. Luke Danger says, you get it the other way, too. People will go after people who check certain boxes and has any sort of moral ambiguity and try to make them equal to the KKK. Stares at Arcane Season 2 and sighs. I haven't seen Arcane yet. I heard the first season is really good. I will get around to doing that at some point. But, yeah, that's another weird thing, is that people get really ambiguous about, like, villains, but at the same time will be very black and white about other things. Like, if anybody has any sort of, like, military pride or any sort of, like, regimented form, they'll be like, that's shades of fascism. And it's like, I mean, I guess I wouldn't have gone there. You know. And again, I shouldn't have to say this, but I absolutely disavow fascism and, you know, extreme communism and Nazism and all forms of dictatorship and totalitarianism. I am not in any way sympathetic to those ideologies. I just want a little nuance, and I want our entertainment to treat us like adults. That's all I'm asking. Nestalogic says, yeah, even after watching the movie called Downfall, which takes place right in the World War II era, and Germany has fallen down. Downfall was a good movie. You know, absolutely good movie. I think the most terrifying thing about the movie Downfall was seeing Hitler being nice to his secretary, and then casually over dinner being like, the Jews, they're awful and terrible, and realizing, like, wow, humans have the ability to compartmentalize their worst and most monstrous tendencies one moment and be really genuinely nice to someone the next. Like, that's a terrifying truth, honestly, about humanity. And I think that's the thing that needs to be told, is the idea that Hitler was not some monster that came out of nowhere. He was a human. And that's more terrifying, because that means that's the capacity that every human has if they make enough wrong choices. And I think that's a warning that needs to be explained to people. Sorry, I'm ranging a lot. I know you guys came here to to talk about things. We'll go a little bit longer with the comments before I start the next mission. Mark Kalinich, I'm Nod fan, but I don't like it when some people think of them as good guys. Yeah, no, for sure. Nod is cool because they're a villainous faction. You know, I accept that they're villainous, but I also accept that they're a freaking cool fictional faction. Vivid of Light says, Armchair Historian is apolitical. I disagreed with what I saw of their Ho Chi Minh biography. I can't say much more without being political myself, so I'll stop now. I appreciate you keeping this a little more apolitical. I appreciate that, Vivid of Light. I don't know if I've seen their Ho Chi Minh biography. If you can give me a link in the comments at some point, I'd love to watch it, unless it's like on their actual channel and it's not on their YouTube. I'd love to take a look and see for myself. If I remember correctly, Ho Chi Minh actually did try to get support from the Allies after World War I at the Treaty of Versailles, and was kind of rebuffed, and that's kind of when he became more extreme into communism, and became the leader of North Vietnam. At least that's what I remember. Benjamin Delapine says, not are becoming villains with good reasons after Tiberian Sun, but still villain. Yes, exactly. Oh, look, number one rival. I think you're new. Welcome to the channel. And then there's Brother Marcion, who gave the anti-cyborg Black Hand and piloted mech one of the weird decisions of Kane's Wrath. Yeah, like, in universe, I guess it makes sense, but it definitely is a hard left turn for the Black Hand. Yep, see you in a bit, Benjamin Delapine. Nastalogic says, I liked watching it in the History Channel and TVs. I slowly understood how they were doing it at the time that led to their downfall at the end of World War II. Yeah, no, History Channel used to be really good. There's still some gems every now and again, but, you know. Trevin Lane, people are illogical, and the more logical they claim to be, the more logical they are. Video Crow's Nest, Marcion used the old, but mechs are cool brothers argument. He really did. He really did, because I think in universe, Marcion was like, okay, I know you guys are against AI, but don't worry. Every purifier will be blessed by a Black Hand Abbot before it goes out of the war factory. He just really wanted mechs. Luke Danger says, yeah, Nod can be fun if you look at the genuine grievances, but recognize that Nod's elite are cynically exploiting those to build their power, or genuinely believe Nod's rhetoric and ignore the cost. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what I try to do the most, even with people that I disagree with politically, is try to understand that for the most part, it's the people in leadership that are the cynical, evil people exploiting genuine grievances that the other side has. And that helps me to be a bit more compassionate, understanding with people that I disagree with on a theoretical level, to understand that a lot of this is coming from genuine grievances that do need to be addressed. I just think that's a better way of going through life. Number one rival. That's what the movie Guess Who's Back did. Great German film with an interesting... I've heard about that. I've heard about that. All right.
Control of the mutants is in our grasp. Their headquarters is located to the north of your drop-off position. The GDI units you will need to implicate in this deception occupy a small base to the southwest. Do not mar the Brotherhood's name any further. Allow the blame to fall squarely on Solomon's shoulders.
That has lived rent-free in my brain for years. Do not mar the Brotherhood's name any further. Yeah. Tell me, is my mic still going? I'm terrified. I recently added hotkeys for muting the mic and unmuting the mic, and I don't have an indicator, so I'm always terrified that I've left it muted this entire time. So, if anybody could just confirm that you can hear me before we start the mission. Thank you, Vida Flight. Sky Vipers, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you back. Snow Gang, I like that. If we ever get merch, that's what we're doing. As for me, I am Dr. No Kills Confirmed Snowman. Osterreicher, welcome back, Commander. Good to have you here. Okay. Luke Danger says, like there's anything left to bar at this point. And your mic is okay, Snowman. Welcome to the chat, Shogun Sam. Glad to have you. Nastalogic says, what I don't understand is what type of disease he had that made his left hand shaking constantly as it was shown when he ate the soup with a spoon like a normal person with his right hand. Oh, are you talking about Hitler? Good question. I don't know. Okay. Osterreicher says, always happy to see other commanders take on missions. Osterreicher, do you do videos of the single player campaign stuff? All right, let's go. Oh, we're in. We're in already. I guess we need an engineer. It has been so long since I've done this mission.
Yes, sir.
Can we repair this? We can. Huh. I like that there's a walled off section. This feels very Blue Zone.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Ugh. Breathing problems from World War I. Thank you, Shogun Sam. I knew it was because of the poison gas attacks, right? Thank you for reminding me. One of your favorite missions, Osterreicher. Indeed. All right, I guess we'll build Tiberium Refinery. Nastalogic, which makes it even worse, is that he was a vegetarian. Yeah, that's another... Yeah, Nastalogic, that's another weird thing, is from what I've researched, the Nazis were, like, weirdly, like, environmentalist or, like, pro-animal to a certain degree. It's just another weird quirk of their ideology. That doesn't mean... That doesn't mean that being environmentalist or pro-animal is Nazi. That's not what I'm saying. Absolutely not. I'm just saying it's weird that that was one of the hills they were willing to die on. Let me save. I forgot to save. Sheep's clothing. It's just really weird. Sky Viper says, not these more cutscenes featuring Umaga. Okay, Sky Vipers, we get it. Go to horny jail. Bonk.
Construction complete. New construction
Okay.
options.
Number one rival says the Nazis were also against smoking too, but not against methamphetamines. They were very high on that stuff for a lot of the war, and not just the soldiers, a lot of the civilian market as well. It's insane, like, on how much methamphetamines they were on. I believe allies were too, to a certain degree, tank commanders and pilots to stay awake, but not on the scale of the Nazis. It was insane from what I remember researching. Shogun Sam said drug abuse was bad. Yes, exactly. Trevelyan says, I bet you can build off those watchtowers. Probably. Osterreicher says, it's funny how you pronounce my last name the true American way. Oh, is this supposed to be Osterreicher?
Insufficient funds.
I'm sorry. Let's drop another one over here. Alright, is that all the Tiberium I'm going to have access to? Goodness. I know this is for the benefit of, like, me knowing that it's me playing, but it's kind of hilarious that, like, I'm very clearly colored red, and it's like, Red Titan's attacking, it must be GDI! It's not until, I think, the Persuader mission that you actually get to control GDI soldiers and it keeps the same color scheme, if I remember correctly. Osterreicher says it's actually Austrian. Ah, nice. Luke Danger says, if I remember correctly, you can wall off from the watchtowers. Probably a good idea to build walls, given the mutants will attack in forces and fast units. Oh my gosh! Those things terrify me. Alright, I'll do that next chance I get. I definitely need more money, and I'm going to have to take care of those if I'm going to get the Tiberium up here. But I seem to be okay for now. Let's save. Ugh. WoW fan says, I always destroy my buggy and tic-tacs on this. On purpose, for the lore reasons, or just through the course of the mission? Luke Danger says, Anada is very high on Tiberium Infusion. Especially by Tiberium Wars. I feel like, with the Fanatics and the Tiberium Infusion enhancement they can get. Bit of Light says, everyone being on drugs during the World Wars kind of tracks. Yep. It's always funny to me that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, when he made Sherlock Holmes have a cocaine addiction, and he portrayed that as being a negative thing, that was kind of actually progressive for the time, because nobody thought there was a problem with having cocaine at the time. I just find that hilarious. Here's my hot take. Cocaine is bad for you. Everybody's like, well, I say, Mr. Arthur Conan Doyle, you're being quite a bit of a prude, don't you think? Anyway. Shogun Sam says, well, it is Deutsch for Eastern Realm. That makes sense etymologically. That also sounds cool. Okay. We can't upgrade our power plants yet. Luke Danger says, especially since you don't spend time taking the base, so there really isn't a need to actually fight GDI for the start besides the token 1 light infantry. I'm not sure what you mean. Osterreicher says, do what I do, build 3 refineries and meds with disc throwers at the entry. I will do so. Sky Viper says, liquid Tiberium equals Mountain Dew. Do not drink the forbidden Mountain Dew, Sky Vipers. Luke Danger says, also darkly funny that engineers and light infantry still show the nod icons, but it's treated as GDI. Exactly. Shogun Sam, I think, is making a reference to the original Coca-Cola recipe. This is going to be a slow start because of the economy. I know about the real world, but what about Tiberian Sun? Heyo! Luke Dinger says, I was referring to Nod being red for this mission. They could have made it gold from the start, to be honest, or some other color if they didn't want to use GDI gold for the player here. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, in the later Persuader mission, they do keep the color, so it's not like it's something they couldn't do. Okay. Ugh. It's funny that Umagon says that divination doesn't work, like it's killing us. Is she just referring to the medical experiments on the mutants to try and create divination? Or does she know something we don't about the fact that divination wouldn't work? Because one of the most ambiguous things to me is at the end of the Nod campaign, that the World Ultra Missile goes off, Kane disappears into shimmering lights, and we're not really sure what happens next. It just sort of ends there. And we don't know if Kane just killed off everyone in humanity or if divination did work to some degree. And I'm wondering if what Umagon said is just because she's mad at all the medical experiments, or if she actually knows that like divination would actually just end up killing everybody, and Kane just doesn't care. Luke Danger says, if I remember correctly, there's fairly generous Tiberium in this mission, and those fenced-up blossom trees regenerate super fast, if I remember correctly, for being fenced up. Good to know. I'm going to build some Titans and then move north so I can secure this Tiberium field. Ugh. Probably just... National Logic says, honestly, that's still debatable. Which dictator was the worst overall in the wars, either German or Russian dictator? I've mentioned this before. I don't think it's super... I don't think there's any real point to comparing all the dictators, since they're all probably equally bad in one form or another, depending on how you count things. That being said, I'm willing to have a discussion on a theoretical basis, if we're not taking it all too seriously. For one thing, like, obviously, like, communist dictators like Mao Zedong and Stalin killed way more than Hitler. Part of that is because they had a bigger population to work with. Part of it is because a lot of their policies did it kind of indirectly through mass starvation, whereas Nazi genocide was sort of done targeted. It's kind of hard to do, because I talk with my friends about this, and while, like I said, while Hitler and Mao Zedong like killed way more, I think we tend to think of the Nazis as, at the very least, just as evil, if not more, because there's just something inherently terrifyingly evil about sort of the regimented, directed, machine-like way that they went about exterminating the Jews, the homosexuals, the gays, the gypsies, the Polish, you know, all the targeted groups that they didn't like, the disabled. Ooh, I love that alarm sound. So, it's hard to measure that, but I do think at the very least that people should consider Stalin, Mao Zedong, Pol Pot, and Hitler in the same breath. I think they're all, at the very least, just as evil as each other. And I do wonder if, like, the rising sun flag of Imperial Japan in the East is seen with as much vitriol as, like, the swastika is in the West. Because, I can't remember who it was, but one of my commenters brought up the fact that, like, you know, Japan did some really messed up stuff. Japan also had sort of an idea that at the time that they were, like, racially superior to the Chinese and the Koreans. You know, obviously there's the rape at Nanking, and then, of course, medical unit, I think it was 731. They did a lot of really weird, like, Mengele-esque experiments on people. So, like, again, you got to include Imperial Japan in that as well, because there's some nasty stuff that was done there. Build some more Titans on a radar. Let me move up. What's in the area behind your base? Maybe more Tiberium? I don't think there is. I can check.
Sir, orders received.
Unit ready.
Video Crow's Nest says your base will soon start being raided by Forgotten's party bus corps. I know, right? Umagon is just mad. Vid of Light says she's not referring to Kane's experiments. The mutants are slowly dying. The Tiberian Sun Manual says that Tiberium is slowly covering more of Umagon's body and will eventually kill her. That's true. It's not like the mutants are, like, quote-unquote thriving under their mutation. They're able to survive in Tiberium for the time being, but the mutation will still kill them.
Yes, sir.
Shogun Sam says Nod probably has terrible standards of hygiene and care, so that She's actually just mad about the fact that nobody in Nod washes their hands. Which, fair. Luke Danger says, or did Kane just expose everyone to Tiberium and those who survived or those who would have survived? Exposure a la mutants, so they're supposed to fart. That would be terrifying if it was just like, look, there's a percentage of you that are going to be able to take divination and the rest of you are just going to die. May the chips fall where they may. That would be terrifying. Number one rival says, Forgotten Mutant, why is GDI suddenly attacking us here? Another mutant looks at the construction yard now covered in red paint through binoculars. Other mutant, no idea. We'll attack them. I like the idea that engineers, when they capture a base, just have boatloads of paint. Let's build some component towers. Nope. That's not where I wanted the component tower. I'm sorry, I'm OCD about this. It needs to be exactly where I want it to be. Alright. Really? We only have Vulcan cannons? I really thought we would have had RPGs by now. There we go. Sky Vipers, General Snow, do you take suggestions for community polls? I thought of a good one the other day. Might be a divisive for diehard fans to choose between because I can't myself. Yeah, go for it. This is the Snowman Q&A. This is the one place where you can say whatever you want to me, except racial slurs. So, no jokes about melting in a fridge. I will end this stream if that happens. Osterrecker says, they both horrible, indeed. Shogun Sam says, neglect versus willing. I take some issue with that. I mean, yes, I do believe that a lot of the deaths caused by communism are more indirect than by Nazism and fascism. That being said, I'm not sure how unwilling it was. At least with Mao Zedong, I get the impression that he was genuinely wanted to lower the population of China as he thought they were overpopulated. That's just the impression I get. I don't know if that's true. If somebody is more knowledgeable about Chinese history, could speak on that. I would defer to your knowledge on the matter. Goodness, man. But yeah, there is room for argument there. But I do question how unwilling the deaths caused by communist regimes in the 20th century actually were. Osterrecker says Stalin was a piece of work. AH also was, but he was taking notes from Stalin's gulags idea. Yeah, no, the gulags in the 50s and 40s were very similar to the camps. Both very horrible. But of course, under communism, you are all equally worthless. Shogun Sam says the banality of evil. Yes, that's one of the things I really liked about the show Andor. I think it really showed just like regular bureaucratic people pulling the strings for an evil empire. I think that was a really accurate view of how evil just sort of creeps into a society, kind of just normally and mundanely. Luke Danger says, and they have a tick tank and attack buggy too, and they're light infantry wearing non-combat armor. No, that's clearly GDI. Astrology says, what about Mussolini? Ooh, I don't know as much about Mussolini as I would like. I need to learn more about that part of history. Shock Combo says, mutants colorblind confirmed. Astrologic, the Italian dictator? Yes, Mussolini was the Italian dictator of World War II. I think the reason he doesn't get as much press is just because he was very useless during World War II, militarily. Alright, let's move up. We'll build some Wolverines as well, for the heck of it. Oh, you done did it now. You got my Titans angry. Shogun Sam says, Japan was war crimes versus crimes against humanity. That was Germany. Can you explain the difference? Number one rival. Yeah, the reason we know how much water is in the body is because of Unit 731. The way you found out was not pretty, to say the least. Yeah, no, Unit 731 is absolutely horrifying. Osterreicher, thanks to Japan Medical Atrocity, we know lots about the medical human stuff today. As much as it pains me to type this, I work in the med sec. Yeah, I've heard differing stuff on that. I've heard that like a lot of that stuff was theorized and was just confirmed by those medical atrocities, and that eventually we could have found ways to discover that without those atrocities. I'm not sure how true that is. I'm not in the medical sector like you are, Osterreicher, so I'll defer to anybody's knowledge who's actually in the medical sector. but I'm wondering if it's a bit more gray than people are putting it out to be, as far as like, oh, it was a necessary evil. It's like, was it? Was it? Oh, wow, okay. Well, I guess we're going right then. But that's also just my own bias of not wanting to believe that those sorts of things were necessary in any way, because they were horrible. Trevin Lane, they have some mammoth and flame tanks from the First Tib War, so they have some defenses. Yeah, I like that they use the basically old, outdated scrap material. I think that's really cool. Nest Logic says, how are they even shouting at buses? That's very creative. Videos Crow's Nest. Engineers use a technology version of Age of Empires priests. Wololo, now your shirt turns red. There's the reference to Age of Empires I need. I grew up playing all the Age of Empires games except Age of Mythology, which I've recently got into with the remastered version, and oh my gosh, I love that game so much. Sky Vipers, poll suggestion. Best CNC soundtrack? Oh, we have some bangers like On the Prowl, Act on Instinct versus Lone Trooper, Not Crush. Tiberian Wars has some good creepy ambient music. Yeah, Tiberian Wars doesn't have as many bangers in my opinion, but their ambient tracks are pretty good. I don't know how I would do a poll on that, just because there's so many songs. I'd have to figure out something. Maybe I compare different games, like, which game to you had the best soundtrack? Tiberian Dawn, Tiberian Wars, or Tiberian Sun? I think that would be a good way of doing it. Get some Titans at the front gate. I'm getting it. Trevin Lane says, what aircraft do you have this mission? Oh, good idea. If you have jump troopers and orca fighters, you can do some scouting strategic strikes. Good idea. I don't think I have jump jet troopers yet, but I do have helipads, so I probably have at least orca fighters at this stage. Yep, orca fighter. Nastologic says, that's a good suggestion, Sky Vipers. Even Renegade, the black sheep of the series, has some decent soundtrack, even if it's just a little. Yeah, I'll put that in the poll as well. Let's get some more power. RG Frank, welcome to the chat. Ooh, destroy the walls around the Tib field. Let it grow bigger. It can sustain 6 or 7 harvesters. It's not a bad idea. Also, you guys just move up here. Chase Baker says the R in RV stands for rockets. We got them. Luke Danger. Trevor Lane, only orca fighters, although you can use APCs to get to the other side of the bridge that's broken, if I remember correctly. Oh, really? I will have to try that. Sky Viper says, Nest Logic, true, especially Renegade X, Totem Arts remakes the song so good. Yeah, you guys don't even stand a chance. Not a chance. And I don't think they have any artillery either, so you should be good to go. The campaign from Age of Mythology is absolutely awesome. Yes, RG Frank, it absolutely is. I play that a lot with the D-Train. A lot of games. We've been playing through Arena of the Gods recently. Such a fun mode. Some of those missions, though, are just unfair. Not from the campaign, Arena of the Gods, I mean. Trevor Lane, that works, Luke Danger. A couple of those make a good QRF force. Tiberian Sun music is the best. Me personally, Mark Kalinich, I absolutely agree. Nastologic. Speaking of which, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is the one classic RTS game that manages to consistently maintain a spot in Steam's top 100 most played games. Yeah, no, Age of Empires 2 is ridiculously popular. Always has been. I've always been more of an Age of Empires 3 man myself. But I get it. Age of Empires 2 was always my sister's favorite game. Nastologic says something that no other classic RTS has been able to do. Yeah, no, it stands head and shoulders above all the rest in my opinion. Except maybe StarCraft, at least as far as like staying power. Osterreicher says they have obelisk in nod choppers there at the entrance. Oh, you're right. I forgot about that. Too bad my orca fighters can't actually be fighters and fight air to air. Do I have anything anti-air? I don't think I do. What the frick am I supposed to do about that? Well, good thing that the harpies basically just tickle you. Yeah, let's just let it grow. We're not anyway, right? We wouldn't want Tiberium to not flow. This is in-universe. Even if we are trying to be GDI. Oh, guys, you don't have to... I'll just build you a gate. Don't... calm down, guys. Take a chill pill. Do you even have anti-air in this mission? Or do you have to hunt down the helipads? I'm just going to hunt down the helipads with danger. Let's bring you a little closer. Nastologic says, in fun fact, the original Age of Empires 2 came out September 26, 1999. A month after Tiberian Sun and the Definitive Edition came out in 2019. Gosh, we were so spoiled growing up, guys. We had so many great games. And I'm not going to say it was just the 90s. I think the 2000s obviously was another golden age with the Fallout series, BioShock, a lot of other games there. The 2010s, I think, is underrated. I think there was a lot of great games. The new God of War games, Ghost of Tsushima. There was a lot of great games in the 2010s as well. I think the Xbox One, PS4 era is very underrated as having some really classic games. Uncharted 4, which I'm currently covering on my channel right now. The other one, Snowman's Playground. I think the 2020s, though, have largely been a bust for AAA gaming. Look. I love how they hide. They camouflage. Besides, SAM site's for defensive, but the mutants don't attack the base for harpies. True. Okay, I guess this mutant surrendered. RG Frank says, love the polls you put out and the discussions it provokes. It's good fun and some nice nostalgia to brighten day. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that it was as popular as... Oh, there they are. Surprised as popular as it was. And I really enjoy doing it and hearing all your discussion. I read every comment. All right. Trevor Lane says, that was always an issue with Tipson GTI Arsenal. Indeed. I think that's why they balanced it. What's happening? Shoot. I should have kept some of these around. I didn't put any defenses on this side. Are you gonna do something, buddy? No way. Oh, I can't put it here? Really? Well, screw you then. Any time now. There we go. That is doing surprisingly little damage. Oh, get up. Come on, guys. Over here. There we go. You acquitted yourselves well, gentlemen. Okay. Nastologic says, even Age of Empires 4, which while being a successful entry to the series, gets upstaged by AO2 Definitive Edition. It does. I enjoyed Age of Empires 4 for what it was, especially the campaign, because I love all the history it does. But I don't know. I felt like Age of Empires 4 should have taken more chances. I feel like instead of being what it was, or at the very least Age of Empires 5 should be this, it should be from like late 1800s, scramble from Africa, and end in like World War I technology. I know that's crazy, but like, if people want medieval stuff, everybody already loves Age of Empires 2. And Definitive Edition keeps adding more stuff and new factions and campaigns. Like, you kind of filled the medieval niche. You don't need to explore that era anymore. Take some chances. Do something crazy with the next Age of Empires. least in my opinion. Luke Danger says, to be fair, I could see not containing Tiberium for the purposes of farming the crystal. It would track for them and honestly be a fun thing to explore rather than just grazing wild fields. I suppose. Shogun Sam says, I should have played more RTS. Well, it's never too late to get into it.
Yes, sir.
Osterrecker says, if you go through the Tiberium on the right and save the mutant from the mutant dogs, he will disarm the gate and the other hounds. Oh, is that what happened? Because I couldn't kill him.
Yes, sir.
I guess that's what happened. Huh. Shogun Sam says, I only played the first 2 Tiberium games as a kid. I just now want to play the others. Well, honestly, if you played Tiberium Dawn and Sun as a kid, that's probably the best case scenario, because those would be the hardest to get back into as an adult, because they're pretty tough from modern day sensibilities. So jumping into Tiberium Wars and Kane's Wrath now, I think you would have a good time with that. Luke Danger says, what? That guy's a traitor? I hope he enjoys his 30 pieces of silver. Good reference. Nastalogic says, there are lots of favorites. My favorite ones are Wolfenstein, Far Cry, CNC, Need for Speed, Prince of Persia, Doom. Name a few. Dang, man. You named almost all of my favorites. Nastalogic says, some of them are still going. Some of them are getting shelved, sadly, for the foreseeable future. Yeah. Shogun Sam says, I love how boomer shooters and RTS games have made a comeback in the indie scene. Love that Frank Klepacki is still making music.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
On my way.
Here we go.
Now we got it. On my way.
Vid of Light says, Snow Gang, perhaps we should all join a Renegade or a Path Beyond Apocalypse Rising and have an all-star smackdown. And yes, AoE 4 should have gone forward in time, not back. I want to do something multiplayer-based. I'm getting really close to getting to 3,000 subscribers. When that happens, I want to do something special. So doing something multiplayer-based with all of you guys sounds like that would be super fun.
Yes, sir.
Oh, there's the Harpies.
On my way. Orders received.
Oh, here we go.
Unit lost.
Oh, here we go. Kill that first. Trevor Lane says, I have to go. My sister's birthday party is today. Well, she probably doesn't know who I am, but tell her a happy birthday from Mr. Snowman. Good to have you, Trevor Lane. Glad you were here. Hope your sister has a good birthday.
Unit lost.
Waiting orders. On my way. No problem.
I guess we need to build more Titans. Alright, let's see if you can destroy these.
Yes, sir. You got it.
Nastalogic says, well, as long as Frank Klepacki makes music, the entire soul of CNC still lives in our hearts. Absolutely. I can't wait to introduce my kids someday to CNC. That's going to be such a fun day.
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Come on. Destroy it. Hey, it's Michael! Hello! Welcome back to the chat. I'm glad you were able to make it. I know you said you wanted to be able to make it. And oh, is that Umagon? Is that supposed to be Umagon? Or is that just like an archetype for the female sniper of the music? I don't think that's supposed to be Umagon. It just says enemy soldier. And I think I can kill her with no consequences, so I don't think that's canonically Umagon. Yep.
Moving out. Yes, sir.
Mark Kalinich says, Tiberium Wars campaign is ruined by the patch. Yeah, oh, that's right. If you're going to play that, Shogun Sam, make sure that you get the patch that reverts the game back. It's a mod. It's called, like, CNC3 Original, I think. It's very easy to install mods through the menu. But make sure you do that before, because they created a patch for the multiplayer to make the Tiberium harvesting less. But it ruined all the campaign, because they were built for you having to be able to harvest more Tiberium per harvester run. So look it up. Otherwise, you will have a heck of a time with that game. Thank you for reminding us about that, Mark Kalinich. Luke Danger says, looking at the mission diorama in the AVA database, this mission has so many back ways in with the AAPCs, but doing it up front with the Titans probably works. So flex by capturing their hand? Yeah, sorry. Let's go ahead and have you guys come up here. I want to at least see what's up here before we end the mission.
Sir, moving out.
Nastalogic says, the simple reality is that the RTS genre just isn't as popular as it were in the late 90s and early 2000s. Yes, and part of that is just trends.
Yes, sir.
And the other part of it, I think, is just... I think we just haven't tapped into the full potential of this medium.
On my way.
I've said it so many times. But there's lots of technology and cool mechanics in Tiberian Sun that just was never brought forward. You know? The stealth units, the underground units, the amphibious units, the flora and fauna actually fighting back against you. There's so much potential mechanics that they could do with video games that I feel like a lot of RTSs, the new ones, just refuse to innovate in ways that have already been touched upon by previous games. I just don't understand. Shogun Sam says, gotcha, thank you. You're welcome, Shogun Sam.
Yes, sir.
Luke Danger says, probably just using Umagon as a stand-in for the sniper. There's a bunch of Ghost Stalkers in Firestorm, for example, but not the Ghost Stalker himself.
Yes, sir.
Fair point.
Yes, sir.
Bridge repaired.
Okay. Hey, it's Michael says, whenever I get Silas needed, I immediately start thinking of the quote from General Kwai. Tanks! Build more tanks! Yeah. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Tax Owlbear or somebody else, but there was some British guy I was watching years ago who was doing a Red Alert 1 walkthrough for the Allied campaign. And whenever he heard Silas needed, he goes, no, you said it wrong. What you actually mean is not enough tanks. And that's been stuck in my head for so long.
Yes, sir.
It looks like there's more over there. Let's get you guys into here and see what's up on the left. Sorry if I'm taking a little long to complete this mission, but it's been a chill week. It's been a really good week. Nastologic says, if we look at the other well-established RTS franchises that made sequels, the results have not been great. Yeah, it's true. Luke Danger says, haha, yeah, one of the first things I did with the Kane's Wrath mod I'm toying with was to kick up the economy. Not full to the original, but still more per trip, since unlike RA3, you don't have a constant pace. Yes. Shogun Sam said that I would love to fight in noises, what? I would love to fight in underground trails, freaking eat your heart out, which intro. I'm not sure what you're saying. The grammar on that was weird. Oh, what? Okay. Oh, all right. I guess that was it. Go us. National Logic says, Homeworld 3, for example, ended up doing very poorly. Largely seems because of the story. Company of Heroes 3 ended up having a mixed perception. How many people go back and give it a second chance? Yeah, a lot of those have not been great. Even Age of Empires 4, which I think did decently well, just didn't wow a lot of the Age of Empires community. There has been more, I think, love in the community for Age of Empires 3's remaster and all the new factions and battles that have been added, and especially for Age of Mythology retold and all the added stuff there. So, you have a point, Astrologic. WoW Fan says, I bought Dying Breed the RTS, but it has a severe lack of content, so I had to refund it. Oh, that's too bad. I've been keeping up with that game's development for a while. Oh, Montauk's Rail Network. Oh, gotcha. That's what you meant. Okay. All right, moving on to the next one. We have... we still have a good amount of time.
Good welcome, citizens. Battle Grid Response has reported that a GDI battalion rolled into an undefended mutant camp today, killing all but a few of the long-suffering Forgotten who lived there. While their diplomats talk of finding a peaceful solution, it appears GDI's appetite for the blood of innocents continues to grow. The Brotherhood asks all citizens to join them, receive divination, and fight the great oppressor.
GDI takes no responsibility for the attack that occurred earlier today. We consider the Forgotten to be our allies, and they must trust us. We say this was a Brotherhood trick.
Never say trust us to a mutant.
The more GDI denies, the guiltier they look.
Tacitus is back in our hands. The mutants are convinced GDI is responsible for the attack. Good. Very disturbed. Interrogation reveals GDI may have a serum to reverse the effect of Tiberian divination.
Impossible.
It is true. Uncompromised the great plan must be located and destroyed. Nothing must interfere with the technology of peace.
Nothing will.
Mutants believe we are an ally now. Use them.
Ugh. One thing that will never get old is how Nod uses propaganda and media manipulation to win their wars. Ever since Tiberian Dawn, it's so cool.
Use the Cyborg Commando and his team to locate the biotoxin tanker trucks. Both trucks must reach the convoy point here if they are to arrive in time to aid you in your assault against the research facility. GDI patrols are known to be in the area.
Okay.
The informant must make contact with the mutants south of the GDI base. Use the mutants to protect the informant and to eliminate GDI patrols. Reinforcements will arrive after you have secured the railway tunnel here. Use them to locate and destroy the research facility. The mutants, of course, are expendable.
Okay, so I think the top mission is the one that's the secondary one. That will help it make it easier for the bottom one. Can somebody confirm that? I think I need to do the Cyborg Commando mission first. Also, I kind of blanked out there during that cutscene. What are we trying to do? We said we need to destroy something because it will interfere with the technology of peace. What is GDI doing at the research facility? The Cyborg Commando mission is the secondary one. Yes, it gets you a cluster missile to use. Oh, heck yeah! Astrologic says, now that doesn't mean it's difficult to make a new CNC game, but I don't think it would be enough to bring big bucks that companies like EA want, which is what their primary business model is based on. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's a problem that all AAA games happen right now. Like, I think the reason why we're not getting, you know... Like, do you guys remember when PlayStation, it was leaked that they had basically put a halt on a lot of their AAA games and were basically trying to make multiplayer live service versions of all of their franchises? Like, I think Naughty Dog was stuck on, like, a live service game for quite a while before it eventually got canceled. So, you know, if the AAA games are suffering from the big companies being like, not enough money, sorry, then obviously RTS is not going to have a chance. Let's see. Eric Gruber says, the aesthetic of this game is fantastic. Really hoping for a remaster. Me too, Eric Gruber. Welcome to the chat. I believe you're new. Michael says, GA has a serum to reverse Tiberium divination. Gotcha. Chase Baker says, destroy GA's research and reverse Tiberium mutation. All right, which, to be fair, from what we know, doesn't end up working anyway, even if everything goes GDI's way in their campaign, as revealed in the first mission of Firestorm, but still, I can see why Kane wouldn't want that. Benjamin Delapine, you're back. Good, we're just about to start the next mission.
Use the Cyborg Commando and his team to locate the biotoxin tanker trucks. Both trucks must reach the convoy point here if they are to arrive in time to aid you in your assault against the research facility. GDI patrols are known to be in the area.
Okay, let's go. Okay, let's see. I have never played this mission. No, I feel like I have played this mission before. I just don't remember it at all. Okay, Michael says I'll have to head out. See you, Snowman. Good to have you, Michael. Glad you were here. Mike Kalinich says I wouldn't mind another CNC FPS game. Every day I mourn the loss of the Tiberium FPS. Let's see. Benjamin Delapine says the Cyborg Commando mission is so easy. Oh, that's good to know. Astrologic says, and because of that AAA games thing is eventually what led to the game shall not be named in the CNC universe. Big blame on EA for that one. Absolutely. Blue Danger says, especially in this era, since right now GDA otherwise has nothing to offer besides running from Tiberium. That's true. Oh, Orglusman piece. Is this the Orglusman? This looks different. Kane, it's over GDI. I have a meme that depicted you as a switch check and myself as the chat. Anyone else notice that, like, that there's like 5 TV channels? According to the manual, the Cyborg Commando was supposed to like have a chain gun and a flamethrower. But instead they went with this, and I'm glad they did. Or Glusman says, yes, that's me. Okay, good to know. Sorry, your handle looked a little bit different on my screen. Whoop. Holy crikey! I think that was just because of the bridge. I don't think a Cyber Commando can actually one-shot a Titan. But still. Also, is there any Tiberium to heal up in? Yes, Luke Danger, they can heal up in Tiberium. You also don't need to repair the bridge. There are other ways around if you want. Yeah, I'm going to look for that instead. Well, not here. Let's go north. Why not? Ugh. A lot of this game, like, I can play just from muscle memory. Usually the GDI campaign. I didn't play as much of the Nod campaign. I did play it a couple times through, but not as much as I played the GDI campaign all the way through. Nastologic says, speaking of remastering, can you imagine if the Remaster Collection 2 would come out exactly the same time as the game takes place in, September 2nd, 2030? Oh. That's like 5 years from now. But I would wait. I would wait forever for that. Yeah, to the north is a huge Tiberian field. Good to know. Oh, man. I want a remaster collection so bad. Whoop. Can you fire up? No, you cannot. Is there a way up here? I would like to kill you all. I would very much like to kill all of you. Mindless Fire. Is Tiberian Sun where both factions' commandos can actually destroy enemy vehicles before going back to exclusively anti-infantry and CNC3 Tiberium Wars? That's a good question. Yeah, because the Ghost Stalker can also be very good at vehicles. You raise a really good point, Mindless Fire. Also, welcome to the chat. I think you're new. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, this might be the only game where the commandos are specifically tuned to fighting against vehicles, whereas the other ones mostly focus on infantry. Which I think makes the commandos a lot cooler, in my opinion. Hello. Goodbye. I love the fire effect. Alright, let's move left. Is there a guy in here? Oh my gosh, there is. Oh gosh, I love that line. I can smell their fear. Blue Danger says, there's also a few smaller tip patches in the east, but they're pretty far apart. Yeah, I want to explore the map. I'm here. I might as well explore. Wow Fan says, I finally beat Red Revolution in RA2 a few days ago. I'm so bad at that level. I don't remember that one. Which one is Red Revolution? I'm not as familiar with the Soviet campaign of RA2. I mostly played the Red Alert Allied campaigns. Nastologic says, that big cannon looks like the Doom guy using the BFG 9000 in the Doom game. It does, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
I also like the idea that the Cyborg Commando came before the Banshee, so they just decided, well, let's take that gun and slap it rapid fire on a Banshee. That should work as our strategic bomber. Wow Fan says, fighting Yuri in Moscow. Oh, gosh, that one's so hard. That one took me a age and a half, especially since I was also trying to beat the part-time. Come on. Or Glusman says, Virgin clean the Earth from Tiberium versus the Chad covering the world of Tiberium to bring the next stage of human evolution. I'm so glad. No, I can't shoot him from there. Can I shoot him? I mean, they can't throw it up here, right? Nah. Alright. I guess we're moving up. Oh, there's Tiberium. And there's no way out of here. Never mind. Okay, back this way, guys. Oh, my arms hurt so bad. Okay. Luke Danger says, yeah, commandos being anti-infantry only really limits their utility, especially as infantry isn't as big of an issue in later games, given how fragile it is and how easy they are to shred. Exactly. That's a good point, Luke Danger. I never use commandos outside of the single-player missions in those later games, because they're just not as useful. Definitive Light says Red Revolution was the penultimate Soviet RA2 mission. Right. Let's get you in that Tiberium first, and then we'll go blow that up. See what's up there. WoW Fan says Fighting Yuri in Moscow. Or Gluesman. Nastologic. Goes to show that tech is advanced, I guess. Shogun Sam says Cyber Commando is the GOAT of Special Forces. It's basically a one-man army. Yeah, I guess they're just there. You know what? I'm annoyed at them. We're gonna kill them. I don't want them to live. Shogun Sam says Red Alert 2 is the best Red Alert. That is what the community believes for the most part. I personally, my favorite Red Alert is Red Alert 1. And I realized, at a moment of realization yesterday, that might be because I'm just a big fan of the Tiberium universe, and Red Alert 1 is technically both a prequel to Red Alert 2 and Tiberian Dawn. But also, I just like the more grounded nature of Red Alert 1, and I like that it's like World War II, but like 10 years on, and with crazy B-movie tech. I don't know. I've just always liked Red Alert 1 the most. Not that I don't love Red Alert 2. Oh, I completely forgot. So we have members. Shot Combo is a member. You can see because he's green on there. There's a few other members. I don't think they're here. They were gifted memberships. But I promised that I would highlight some of the comments from previous videos. So let me pull that up now while I'm here. Let's hope this works. Let me know if you guys can see the comment spotlight. Okie dokie. Let me make sure I can read all of these. Gosh, it's still small on my screen. Ah, why is it so small? It's so small. Come on. All right, can you guys all see that? Okay. We have Shot Combo, who was commenting on the Banshee, saying cheery voice, death from above, which I always thought was pretty funny that they were so cheery. All the air units in this game are very cheery. Holy crikey, I can barely read that. I'm gonna have to pull this up on my phone. I really should have wrote these down somewhere else. I can barely see it. Can you guys see it? I can't read it on mine. All right, I'm pulling up on my phone so I can look at it more closely. Nope, that's not better. Well, I hope you guys can read it, because I am having a heck of a time reading these. I really need to make these bigger. We have Peace Through Power from Gabriel. Very good. What does that say? Merrick, I believe, says something about the retreating missions, that he likes the ones where you don't actually make it out. It's just hopeless and you're fighting for nothing. And that's, or not fighting for nothing, but fighting not knowing you're not going to make it out alive, which is a lot like the in Halo Reach, if you guys remember that. And this one over here, talking about Slavic, who did try to keep Cabal on a leash. And it really wasn't until afterwards that everything kind of hit the fan. Okay. I'm really sorry. I can't read any of this. All right, we'll go back to the main game. But there, I showed some of my favorite comments from the members. Cabal, zoom and enhance. All right, Shogun Sam says, Red Alert 2 is my favorite because Red Dawn scenarios appeal to my sense of patriotism. Fair enough, Shogun Sam. That was a super cool part. All the parts about the invasion of the U.S. and having to fight back and take back Washington, D.C., the Pentagon, and all the monuments and everything. I thought all that was really cool. Obviously, like, as an American, that was a lot cooler for me, being able to play through a lot of American landmarks as opposed to Red Alert 1, which takes place pretty much entirely in Europe.
Yes, sir.
But, yeah. Nastologic says, Shogun Sim, yeah, Red Alert 2 is also my favorite one because that was the first game that got me the franchise in the first place. Oh, nice. Why don't you guys all tell me, what is the first CNC game you ever played?
Yes, sir.
What got you into the franchise? Oh, shoot, why am I doing that? I have this guy. No, can you not be an idiot for half a second? You're a professional. Get over here. Ooh, yeah. Mindless Fire says, a lot of people disliked how RA-1 Soviets get both the Mammoth tanks and the Obelisk of Light in the form of the Tesla coil, while the Allies' best unit is just the medium tank. This is addressed in RA-2. Yeah, no, it's very asymmetric in the first one, which part of me really likes that, but yeah, it's definitely a lot more balanced with the glorious Prism Tower of RA-2. Okay, I guess we're going back down. I wasted more time.
Yes, sir.
Vid of Light says, there are plenty of European landmarks, but RA-1 was too primitive graphically to really show them. Yeah, quote-unquote Moscow in the final level of the Allied campaign. Zenchat says, see today another episode of HSC Snowman Fails. Oh, come on, man. You don't have to do me like that. I thought I was doing pretty well today. To be fair, that was a really, really tough level last time. Alright, Luke Danger. First actually played Tiberium Wars. Oh, interesting. Though I had seen my dad playing Red Alert originally, and then RA2, which probably piqued my interest initially. Fascinating. Or Glusman, I now hear the audiobook of Bronze, a Canaanite fantasy. The first of the book was written in archaic Hebrew, the other part in modern Hebrew. Interesting. I should look that up. That sounds fascinating. Alright, is there anywhere else to go right? I'm not sure if I want to send my engineers through all that. We might find a shorter way.
Sir. Moving out.
Shock Combo says, let's face it, Red Alert 1 took place mainly in grassy areas and snowy areas. Wait, so is there no other way out? That this whole place is just a bust? That's insane. Alright, you guys head back over here.
Yes, sir.
And you guys, I guess, head back over here. Benjamin Delapine, Red Alert Tesla missions in PS1. I lost so many teeth in this game. Wow, you played Red Alert 1 on the PS1? Respect. Luke Ginger says, watch for those Tiberian fiends. Yeah, I definitely missed that. Fitted of Light says, my first CNC, not sure, but I think RE2 is what got my interest in it, and I asked for Command & Conquer Red Alert 2 Tiberian Sun. They got me both, not finding just one game with that title. Huh. Nice. Was that your parents who got you that? Senchat, first ever OG CNC. Most time spent, RA2 probably. Oop, there's a way up. Let's see what we can do with just the commando. They be my folks. Got it, Fitted Flight. Chase Baker, my CNC was Tiberian Dawn from way back. While I did not make it very far in the campaigns, the whole build-based build army crushed the enemy stuck with me, and I've stuck with the franchise since. Nice. Luke Danger. Actually, Generals might have been the first thing I played, thinking about it. Honestly, I don't remember the exact ones, but yes, you need to go right at this point and look at the bridge first. Well, you guys suck. Alright, we're going to come back down here and just repair this bridge. We're just going to do it this way. I kind of want to see what is on this side of the bridge. Nastologic says, also Renegade was the other one too, even for a black sheep of the series. I still love it, not just because it was different, but only FPS game in the CNC universe, but also because of the multiplayer. Yeah, I only recently played through all of Renegade.
Yes, sir.
Good times, good times. Fitted of Light says, I might have played CNC 64 first. It's been a while. Good grief. Luke Danger, not a bust, you just didn't see the bridge you needed to cross. Yeah. Mark Kalinich, I played RA1 first time on the PlayStation 1. Nice. Luke Danger, huh, I didn't know the disc throwers did that, my bad. No worries. Shogun Sam, Generals age awkwardly, I hear. Generals is still one of the most played Command & Conquer games to this day. It's got a huge competitive scene, and a lot of people still love that game. I think it's actually aged quite gracefully. Not in terms of its graphics, I will agree with you there. But a lot of people still vibe with its gameplay, and there's a ton of mods for it. Romanov says, best CNC is obviously Tib Alliances with Twilight following close. Romanov, get out of my chat and don't ever come back. Yeah, I know, we're just messing with each other. Luke Danger says, guess you have to do the bridge repair anyway. That stinks. Justin Downey says, Red Alert Retaliation on the PS1. Nice. Shogun Sam says, need to play Renegade so bad. Yeah, I think it's still available on Steam. That's where I played it. Pretty easy to get working. Shogun Sam says, that's cool. Just heard it was, it had personality. It did. I mean, it's of its time, you know? It's still a ton of fun. It's the kind of game I don't think they would make today, at least not like that. And that's kind of part of its charm. My first CNC was Red Alert 1. I didn't play Dawn until much later in life, but I played every CNC afterwards with the exception of Renegade. Although there are a few expansion packs that I didn't play till later in life. Like, I didn't play Firestorm until a little bit later, and Yuri's Revenge I didn't play until much later. But every other CNC I pretty much was hooked on right after Red Alert 1. Ooh, yeah. Mindless Fire says, I really miss Dune 2000 where you can actually see everyone using fire teams because personal shields cannot be used on the surface of Arrakis. Yeah, can somebody explain that to me who knows the Dune universe better? Because I watched the first Dune movie, the Denis Villeneuve one, and they seem to make it seem like you can't use guns in the future because everyone's got a personal shield. But when I played Dune 2000, they're using guns. So can somebody explain which one is actually canon, if they changed it for the game just for gameplay reasons, or if there's an in-universe reason for that? I would love an explanation. Shogun Sam says, Cyborg Reapers were so scary when I was a kid. Definitely terrifying. Not as scary as the Cyborg Commando. Alright, let's save again. Senchat says, by the way, Tiberium Alliances still gets updated by EA. That just feels like twisting the knife. Luke Dangerous says, I think Westwood mostly did it for gameplay, but on Arrakis, shields are dangerous because their vibrations attract sandworms, same as thumpers do. Oh, interesting. Nastologic says, but like DW Terminator said in his CNC reviews, the presentation is not what really matters. What really matters is any game with the story and gameplay. Yeah. Vid of Light says, the shield is supposed to stop moving fast-moving objects like bullets. If energy weapons are fired, the reaction destroys both the shield user and the energy weapon that fired at the big boom. Oh, okay. That's why there's no blade combat. There's so much blade combat in the Dune. Blades can move slow enough to penetrate shields. Shogun Sam. In Doom, if you zap a shield with a laser, it will blow up everything. Rubbing off. Basically, Westwood used liberties so that their Dune games weren't limited to just sword and knife duels. They always said the games were non-canon to the novels and movies, a separate timeline. Gotcha. Luke Danger says, though, if I remember correctly, the old Dune movie did show guns. Oh! Oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever seen that before. The meteors have Tiberium in them. I think I remember you guys mentioning that before, and I must have seen that at some point as a kid, but like... Is that just because I was going to say, is that because of our atmosphere? But no, meteors come from outer space. Are the Skrins still sending more meteors? This is really... I feel like I should already... Oh, shoot. Like, I feel like this shouldn't be a surprise to me, and this shouldn't be as big of a deal as it is, but, like, I'm really starting to consider the lore implications of Tiberium-filled meteors post the 1995 one. Anyway, Luke Danger says, though, if I remember correctly, the old Dune movie did show guns being used by the infantry, whom Westwood used in 2K and Emperor's FMVs. Gotcha. Senchat says, Snowman, what do you think of Dying Breed? I've been following its development for a while now. I wanted to give it a shot. I think I played the demo once, and it was very hard for me to figure out where to go or what to do. So I guess that's accurate to 90s RTSs, but I think they could do better with some better tutorializing. But I honestly haven't delved into it deep enough to actually give it a fair shake, I think. Okay, let's just everybody up here. Chase Baker says, Dune 2000 is an alternate take for Dune that had made many choices with the gameplay. Also, the game license is based on David Lynch's Dune movie, not the novels, hence the same art designs. Gotcha, I do remember hearing that. Oh, you want this fight? You don't want this fight. Luke Danger says, oh, completely forgot about that. Yeah, Meteors with Tib. Mindless Fire says, which is why the Atreides endgame unit is the Sonic tank. Nice. Okay, there's something up here. Shogun Sam says, I mean, not everybody would have a shield, so you can mug people, I guess. Luke Danger says, honestly, the screen sending some backups honestly feels on track for them. Yeah, no, absolutely. Astrology says, I think that must be cluster missiles. I don't think it was. Shogun Sam says, freaking need to play Dune 2000. It was hard. I tried playing Dune 2000. I only got a few missions in. Even compared to the original, it's still pretty hard. For me, anyway. Romanov says they actually implemented mini nuclear explosions in Emperor BF Dune because Ordos vehicles got shields out of them, so Ordos mirrors are hilarious when you see laser tanks fighting laser tanks. Gotcha. Romanov says the Tibson Bible basically lays it out. The screen are in fact sending more Tib meteors. Yeah, it's been a while since I've read the Tibson Bible. I need to go back. I know not all of it is canon because they changed some stuff before release, but there's still a lot of more interesting things. And I think its explanation for what the Tacitus is and where it came from absolutely makes sense, and it's currently my headcanon for the origin of the Tacitus. Okay. Gotcha. Senchet says the intro of Dying Breed is good homage or parody of CNC 1's intro. Yeah, I saw that. Music was a little weird. Astrologic saying that even on the easy difficulty, it's still hard. Or Glusman says, was introduced to CNC by a friend of mine that played Renegade back when we were 9 years old, but only played that game in the series alone. Didn't get the lore very much. Yeah, Renegade would be a weird place to start. Mindless Fire says, in Dune 2000, it's kind of implied that you're playing as Paul Atreides if you play the Atreides campaign. Gotcha. Just going to clear this area. Shogun Sam, wait, where do I look up about the Tacitus? If you just look up the Tiberian Sun Bible PDF on, Google, it should come up. It's, free to download. It basically explains a lot of things that were in the developers' minds prior to Tiberian Sun and their plans for that game. Not all of it is canon because they claim that the Skrin actually show up in this game, like in the flesh, and that Kane is making deals with them. That obviously doesn't happen in this game, so we know that something's changed between the time that the Tiberian Sun Bible was written and when the ideas were actually implemented. So you take everything you read in there with a grain of salt. But that being said, their explanation about the Tacitus, there's nothing in this game that contradicts it. And basically their explanation... yeah, sorry, I just saw this. WoW fan. Yeah, the idea that you can't turn off power on RI2 is so freaking weird. But yeah, read it. Shogun Sam. Basically, they explain that the Tacitus is a data matrix created by another alien species that was a victim to the Skrin and the Tiberium infestation. And they basically compiled everything that they knew about Tiberium and everything they knew about the Skrin, put it into a data matrix, and they knew it was too late to save themselves, so they sent it to the next planet that they knew the Skren were going to harvest next, which was Earth. Shoot, this might have been a mistake. Back up. To help them out, because they knew they weren't going to survive, but they thought maybe we can help the next poor planet that's going to be victim to the Skren. which makes so much sense because originally I was thinking, is the Tacitus a Skrin data matrix? But why would the Skrin help out, you know, the humans? But it's not from the Skrin. It's from a previous victim of the Skrin species. And I still consider that to be headcanon because there's nothing in the games that contradicts that so far, unless I'm wrong. Shaw Combo says, wow, I didn't know about the Tiberian Sun Bible. I want a copy and shrine in my house. You do you, Shaw Combo. Shogun Sam says, so many questions, so cool. Indeed. Romanov says, well, they didn't appear directly, but Kane's lines show them on whose side the gods are on. And the Myth Mark 2 even implies he already knows about the Skrin and Venerants, in my opinion. That's an interesting interpretation of that line, Romanov. In my video on who Kane is, as well as I think the Tiberians, the part 2 for Nod's political and religious beliefs, I wasn't sure how to interpret that line. That's actually a really good idea. Because that goes back with another, I think it was Luke Danger, it might have been someone else who had the theory that the Skrin had visited Earth in the past, and that's how they know about Kane, even if it is biblical Kane. Kane doesn't have to be an alien for him to be in the database of the Skrin. So that would make a lot of sense if the Skrin had appeared previously and were considered to be gods by ancient humans. So Kane still kind of jokingly calls them gods because he's lived long enough to remember when humans called the Skrin gods. That's a really cool headcanon, actually. Alright, well, let's at least use the Legionnaires at least once. Anything down here? Benjamin Dillapine says, in reality, the Skrin crash down on Earth was an accident, indeed. Senchat says, the Tacitus was in the Skrin ship that crashed, so why should it not be Skrin? Well, because the Skrin ship wasn't actually Skrin. I believe we, in a previous cutscene of this Nod campaign, Kane explains to Slavik that the Skrin ship was created with technology from the Tacitus by Nod at the end of the last Tiberium War. So it was made by Nod, probably based off of Skrin schematics. By Nod. So the Tacitus didn't come from the Skrin ship. Nod already had the Tacitus and was moving it in the Skrin ship when it went down because Vega went for a joyride. I know, it's complicated and weird, but that's the case. Romanov says, not to mention Kane's entire speech at the end of the GTA finale. More than alien, more than human. The next step in our evolution as a species. That's such a great line. And I think that 100% confirms that Kane is not an alien, because why would he be talking like that if he was one? He's talking about our evolution as a species. He clearly sees himself as human, even if he is a different kind of human. Luke Danger, the idea that the Skrin visited and met Kane before was definitely not me. Okay, it was someone else. WoW says, when is it that Kane calls humans inferior or something similar? That's in Tiberium Wars when he says, when I'm betrayed by my own armies, that is at a time to leave behind this inferior race that calls itself man and leave this godforsaken rock. So, again, EALA was the one that kind of leaned a bit more that Kane was more than human and was possibly an alien. That was not a Westwood line. Shogun Sam says, Kane seems so like Khan from Star Trek. I have not seen a lot of Star Trek. I recently tried to get into it. I tried to start with the original Star Trek, and then I tried a little bit of Next Generation. I really couldn't get into it. So then I tried Star Wars Enterprise, which I know is the one that most people don't like. I really like Enterprise. I think it's just because all the humans are a little bit more emotional and they feel more flawed because they're a lot closer to humans of our era. I just really like Enterprise. I'm currently going through it right now. And I think that'll probably be my gateway into the rest of the series. Romanov says, the Skrin ship in Tiberian Sun was Nod's own attempt at making a Skrin spacecraft based on the info from the Tacitus. Yeah. Can I change my name in this chat? I don't know. If you can, let me know. Shogun Sam says that or he cares for humanity. Yeah.
Secondary objective achieved. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, sorry about that. That took a lot longer than it probably needed to. I just liked playing a little more. A little more casually. Okay. National Logic says, I'm still wondering if Westwood wanted to include the recon bikes in Renegade because it's seen in one of the cutscenes. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's available in the multiplayer. Shogun Sam says it sounds like a Redditor rant, to be honest. What does? Oh, the cane thing? Yeah, probably. Luke Danger, Star Wars Enterprise, and a million nerds cry on terror. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Did I say that? I didn't mean to say that. I know a lot about Star Trek just because I research a lot of it, just for fun, even though I haven't watched a ton of it. So I'm aware of a lot of the concepts and the key events and the races and everything. But as far as actually getting into watching the shows, Enterprise is kind of the first one I've really been drawn into. Nestologic says maybe they didn't have enough development time to include them properly since it was 4 or 5 months between Yuri's Revenge and Renegade. Yes and no. They were rushed by EA, but they were separate teams working on the Red Alert series by this point. That would be Westwood Pacific versus Westwood Las Vegas. The original team was working on the Tiberium games. And then there was a separate team, according to Joe Bostic, down the hall that was working on Renegade. All right, next mission. I'm going to mute myself real quick for the cutscene. Never mind, no cutscene. That's right, because we're doing this mission next.
The informant must make contact with the mutants south of the GDI base. Use the mutants to protect the informant and to eliminate GDI patrols. Reinforcements will arrive after you have secured the railway tunnel here. Use them to locate and destroy the research facility. The mutants, of course, are expendable.
Goodness, Cabal, tell me how you really feel.
Establishing battlefield control. Stand by.
Ready for action.
All right, let's do this. I know, I'm being sarcastic.
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Look at the hospital. Civilian armory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I always thought that looked like the logo for the Oakland Raiders
Sir, yes, sir.
as a kid.
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir. No problem. Yes, sir.
Kane.
Yes, sir. No problem. No problem. No problem.
I've ever made my own RTS. What?
Mutant supplies found.
Hello.
No problem.
Mutants located.
Thanks, we can use the supplies. I'll go gather my people. Whoa.
Ready for action.
Okay, so from what I remember, you can't control the mutants directly. They just sort of follow you. I'm trying to remember which direction to go. I think it's left. I could be wrong. Romanoff says, also Kane mentioning real-time genetic mutation apparently in one of the recent interviews Lewis Castle did. He outright confirmed the Skrin would have unit morphing and transforming gimmick and incursion. Gosh dang it! Every new thing I hear about Tiberium Incursion just makes me so sad we didn't get to see how that would have turned out. Naslog said that must be one of the most iconic siren sound effects ever. That's my favorite like alarm sound ever. Shot Combo says, if you ever made your own RTS, what? Oh, sorry. I've done a lot of thinking about like what I would make for my own RTS. And one of the sticking points for the story is I would want a villain as compelling as Kane, but not being just a ripoff of Kane. Guys, some help. Help would be nice. Fight them. And I think that would be relatively hard to do because you would need to come up with something as compelling as Kane, but not like a ripoff. Lucander says left, and yeah, the indirect control is a pain, especially since you can't heal the informant. Absolutely. Shogun Sam says, I still love the tech Kane uses to hide his wounds as the same tech used by VTubers. Kane was ahead of his time. Oh gosh, Shogun Sam, that's so cursed. Don't ever say that again. Oh gosh. Orglusman says, when I saw a review of Tiberian Wars back in the day, in 2007 on the Israeli game site, V Games, and saw the picture of the Hand of Nod, it gave me a flashback to a said friend playing Renegade in the game Hand of Nod. I guess we're going in here. Interesting. It's always fun hearing about people in other countries and their experience with Command & Conquer. Romanov, so that was cool to learn. Seems they were going all out with Incursion before the esports plague hit the RTS genre fully, but still cool to learn more. Ah! Help! Gosh dang it! Well, Senshat, you got to see me fail. Good ending achieved. Very funny, Luke Danger. Vid of Light says, I have very fond memories of Renegade multiplayer. I'm sad I never got to play it in its heyday. Alright, let's try this again. Once more with feeling. Luke Danger says, I love that audio looping for the GDI logo. No, it's great. I love that piece of music. They're attacking me first. Hit him! Guys, hit him! For the love of Pete, hit him! There we go. Yes, we did it. Okay. Senshap. By the way, Tiberium War is the last CNC they did censorship on in Germany, and it was so minor it was a joke. What was the censorship on Tiberium Wars? Where's my MCV? Oh, there it is. Alright. Chase Baker. Oh, cool, a GTA victory. Wait a minute. Frostburn, welcome back to the channel. Oh, evening, everybody. Hope you all had a nice Halloween. I did have a very nice Halloween. This is a mistake. This is a mistake. This is a mistake. Ugh. Luke Danger says, and now the mutants will throw themselves like militants against GDI's defenses. Yep, not the brightest bunch. Human wave attacks seem to be the height of their strategic prowess. Vid of Light says, you can still get on the Renegade multiplayer in enough of a heyday, I think. A Path Beyond Apocalypse Rising if you want in RA1, RA2 flavors, or Renegade X for a modern facelift. Yeah, I really should play Renegade X. I've been following that game for years. I just never got around to playing it. So this what I got because I got the Toxin Trucks? If so, yay. Romanov says, but another game Westwood was cooking was with Renegade 2, man. Grittier and a darker take on RA2 just looked cool. Yeah. I know Westwood kind of cooked themselves by trying to put too many fingers in too many pies, but I loved a lot of their ideas and would have liked to have seen that come to fruition. Nasty Logic, and even playing Renegades multiplayer practice myself, the idea is what's cool to me and implement in the way that no other classic game is done. For sure.
Building captured. Reinforcements have arrived.
What reinforcements?
Convoy approaching. Building captured.
Approaching where? Oh, hello. Oh, I can't control them. Will you play Renegade Firestorm? Yeah, I've seen the trailers for that. I really hope it is good, because I would love to play that. That would be my jam. Senchat says, the German USK-16 version has minor differences compared to the German version without a youth rating. For example, the term atomic weapons has been replaced with Aurora missiles. Okay.
Construction complete. New construction options.
Senchat, although the radiation warning symbol remains. Furthermore, the unit of the Fanatic has been replaced with one of the bomb expert, who appears less like a suicide bomber. Fair enough. Shogun Sam. Wait, who would have a pink faction? Barbie? Barbie has been a threat to the free world for many years. Do not joke about this, Shogun Sam. Luke Danger. Renegade X does have fully functional single-player and multiplayer game modes. There's that. Yeah, I really should just finally play it. Maybe I'll play it for a stream sometime. Luke Danger. Wait, you were a daughter of Nod? Barbie, you haven't been? Based. Shock Combo. Firestorm X is good. I don't think Firestorm X is even out, right? Orglusman, I see videos of YouTube of X Firestorm. Looks great. It does. And there's my cluster missile.
New construction options. Building.
Astrologic says it's also the reason why I returned to play Return to Castle Wolfenstein, because of the both single player and multiplayer elements, because of having some exclusive mods for it, like Stalingrad. The only Wolfenstein games I played is Wolfenstein: The New Order, which I loved. It was really good. I haven't played any others, so if you have recommendations, let me know. I also played the DLC Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. So much fun. Let's get a radar. Vid of Light. How dare you slander Barbie? She's done vital work for GDI troops at the USO. Gosh. Shogun Sam. Second Tib War was so cool. Need an FPS of it now. For sure.
Construction complete.
And away we go. Let's get some more refineries. Bye-bye, Toxin Trucks. Luke Danger. Firestorm X does look great, though I'm not quite happy with how they portrayed the infantry of each side. The GDI grunts look like Halo ODS troops rather than their Tipsun counterparts. I'll have to take a look at that and see. Peak Nod was Tiberian Sun. 100% agree, Shogun Sam. Or Glusman, hey Snowman, did you see the Barbie joke from the movie Rat Race? The one with the... I did not. Oh, shoot. I dropped it. Okie dokie. One more refinery and then we'll go. Let's do some exploring.
Yes, sir. On my way. On my way. Yes, sir. Moving out. Yes, sir. Orders received.
Ooh, what's this?
Orders received.
Sandbags?
On my way. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nastology says, yes, it's just one of those games that I desperately... What? What's going on?
On my way.
What reinforcements? Do we have mutant reinforcements? What are you talking about? Oh, there they are. We do have reinforcements in the mutants. Yeah. It's just one of those games that I desperately wanted to like it more. I'm a Wolfenstein fan, but I haven't had a great Wolfenstein game since 2001 with Return to Castle Wolfenstein. even in 2009 was more questionable. Yeah, no, that's fair. I have no history with the game, so I can't speak to what a hardcore fan would want from the series. Okay. Alright, good enough. Let's get a war factory in here. More Tiberium! Shogun Sam, you think Westwood would have made a good turn-based strategy game like Fire Emblem? I don't know. I don't know. Luke Danger, mutants will regularly spawn and go up that road to attack the main objective. Good to know. And they do exploring for me, so I'm not about to complain. Alright. What was my objective again? Alright, destroy the research facility.
Construction complete. New construction.
Oh, artillery, baby. AKA the instant win. Oh gosh, they got jump jet troopers. I don't have anything anti-air, right? Do attack cycles attack in the air in this game? I guess I'll just use my rocket infantry. Shot combo. Mutant reinforcements are here to donate Tiberium to the GDI. Good grief. You're not wrong. Senchat says the possibilities of Tiberium are limitless, Snowman. Shogun Sam, the endless possibilities of Westwood being squashed breaks my heart so much I can understand how Nod feels every time Kane disappears. It's a shame. Alright. So basically we're going to cheese this with the artillery that never misses. Along with some rocket infantry and a few tick tanks for good measure. Dang, you can shoot far.
Unit lost.
How come my MLRSs are never that accurate?
Unit ready.
Ugh. Mark Kalinich, just a veteran bike shot air. Oh, interesting. That explains why my mixed memory on that. That's the logic. For some reason, a lot of people didn't like this game, which was something I never quite understood. My main issue was with the boss fights, which I think were utterly broken on hard mode. You talk about Return to Castle Wolfenstein? Luke Danger. Now that is just slander, Shogun. Exactly. MLRS drive-by. Ouch. Indeed, shot combo. I don't know. When I get to 3,000 subscribers and I do something multiplayer, what do you guys want to do? I was thinking doing something like Tiberian Sun multiplayer, all of us on the same team versus AI, just so it's a little more chill. What do you think? Oh, we have a tech center. I didn't even realize we had that. Alright,
Yes, sir. Unit reporting.
Building.
No, Frostburn. Kane is not God, but he's a close second. Luke Danger. If you're looking for a multiplayer event, that could work. Or Renegade X, since it's free.
Construction.
That could be fun. If we all did Renegade X together.
New construction.
I wouldn't mind doing that. If we could set up like a private match. Oh yeah, Frostburn, you corrected yourself. That's right. Vidid of Light. A comp stomp would be fun. Maybe something Renegade style. Lots of room. If we could find a good server, it'd be hard to coordinate. Yeah, it really comes down to whatever's the easiest for me to coordinate, because I'm still trying to figure out life and everything, and honestly, the idea of having to coordinate a big something that would be too hard to get everything together sounds like a nightmare to me, so...
Construction complete.
Or Glusman. Hey, Snowman, did you hear about the HOI 4 alternate history mod Red Flood about a world where World War I ended in a stalemate? I have not. I should check that out. Luke Danger. Or wildcard option, since it's out with the Steam collection, Tiberian Twilight as it was supposed to be before EA made it the series finale. Oh, gosh. Astrologic, but other than that, I guess at times it really didn't feel like a Wolfenstein game, just a semi-open world game, unnatural, and that's why I consider Wolfenstein 2009 to be the black sheep of the series. Gotcha. I do have the Flaming Shoeboxes of Death. Yeah, Renegade, if I could get that to work, I feel like that might be the most fun. Just to cut loose and all of us just having a good time. I don't know. I'll probably do a poll. Renegade X or Tiberian Sun. Those are kind of my two top ideas right now. Frostburn, if you want to do some multi-snow, I'm sure you can pick and choose from chat. Everybody here would gladly join. I would for sure. Alright, let's go. Let's scout some more. I really need to know what's going on.
Orders received. On my way. Orders received. Yes, sir. On my way. On my way.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Moving out.
You know, while I'm here, I'm actually curious.
Moving out.
What are you guys' favorite bands? What are some artists you guys have been listening to recently?
Yes, sir. Moving out. On my way. Orders received.
Unit
On my
ready.
way. Moving out.
Unit lost.
Alright, let's see what's down here.
Unit ready, sir. Orders received. Orders. On my way. Ready. Waiting orders. Sir. Unit reporting.
Unit ready.
Waiting orders.
Let's not forget these guys. We're going to need them if they attack us with air.
Unit ready.
Shogun Sam says, Breaking Benjamin and J-Pop. My man. Love Breaking Benjamin. And I'm not above Japanese pop music as well.
Unit ready.
That's the logic, but for Return to Castle Wolfenstein, that's why I think it's the best game in the entire series. I might be biased, but the AI in this game is wonderful, and they don't work under a script like most games nowadays. I really need to check that out. Is it available on Steam?
On my way. Unit ready. Yes, sir. Unit ready. Moving out. Yes, sir.
Luke Danger, Sabaton has a lot of good stuff, and there's Cole McGinnis, Cammy Cat, Jonathan Young, or Anna Panchis' covers here on YouTube. Yeah, Sabaton is fantastic. Love Sabaton. I think they just released an album. They do a lot of historical songs.
Sir. Yes, sir. Unit ready. No problem.
Frostburn says Dead Mao and Enya. Ooh, good taste. Good taste, Frostburn. Shot combo. Tiberian Sun OST. That's normal, right? What the? Oh, really? Shoot.
Waiting orders. You got it.
Building.
Unit reporting. On my way.
Construction complete.
And away we go. Yeah, Tiberian Sun soundtrack, that's perfectly normal. That is a sign of a well-adjusted, healthy individual.
Unit ready. On my way. Unit ready. Orders received. Unit ready. Unit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unit. Yes, sir. Unit moving out. Unit ready. Yes, sir. Moving out. Waiting orders. Loud and clear.
Senchat, seems like someone found a cure-off next to the Golden Gate Bridge 4 days ago. Yeah, I saw that in the Command & Conquer subreddit. Nevermore Rival says, I've been listening to Kino, The Kinks, and Peter Gabriel and ABBA through some edits. Nice, nice.
Unit reporting. On my way.
Chase Baker says musical artist Weird Al Yankovic and Miracle of Sound. Yeah, Weird Al is definitely our generation. And Miracle of Sound, dang. Yeah, no, he's good. I love his stuff. I love his New Black Gold. That's a song he does on the Deus Ex universe, specifically the Adam Jensen games. That song is a bop. That and his Outer Worlds song, Payday, super fantastic. And then his Dune song, The Desert Has a Soul. Those are all like 3 of my absolute favorite from Miracle of Sound. So the problem is I can't see anything. Mount Kalinish says, only listen to video game music. Respect. Bit of Light. He's gone now, but Gordon Lightfoot. Otherwise, old hymns and military marches, anime themes, video game OSTs. I can respect that. I can respect that. Luke Danger says, at least you have the Rocket Infantry. And yes, Sabaton released the album Shogun Sam mentioned. Legends? Is that what it was called? Oh, get him, boys. Oh, hello. Would you like to meet my SAM sites? Nastologic says, and the reason why I also like Return to Castle Wolfenstein is because it's available in modern systems, even after almost 24 years. Oh, is it available on Steam or GOG? Because if so, I might just pick that up. I liked Wolfenstein The New Order enough to want to go play some of the older games. I'm going to need more Tic Tanks. Okay. So far, doing good. It's going to be hard to get across that bridge. Maybe I should just blow up the bridge and go across a different way. Shogun Sam says, 3DG had an amazing album come out. Matt and Adam made a great duo like Chester and Mike. I have to check that out. I need something that's anti-infantry. Alright, you guys. Join up. Luke Danger says, well, I need to head off. Enjoy the rest of the mission. Try not to lose too many expendable allies. Fair enough. I probably can only be on for another half an hour at most, and then I'm going to call it. I have places to be today. Things to do. Philosophy to explain. Snow to accumulate. See you later, Luke Danger. Chase Baker says, great songs. My favorite Miracle of Sound songs are All Is One, Crucible, and The Great Unknown. Which franchises are those tied to? Or are those some of his original stuff? Vid of Light. New Order was good. New Colossus was not. Return to Castle Wolfenstein is good too, though. Yeah, I never played... I never had any desire to play New Colossus. I'll just leave it at that. Frostburn. Bye, Luke. See you next time. Mark Kalinic says it's on Steam. Awesome. Oh, there is another way out. What's the point of a bridge if there's like a way up right there? I guess to avoid the Tiberium. Let's go. Alright. And we're going to need more rocket troopers. Let's just send all of you up here. Let's... There we go. Yeah, let's actually have you heal these guys up. It's on Steam and GOG. Awesome. Yeah, thank you for the recommendation then, guys. I will check out that game. Maybe I'll cover it for the channel, who knows. The other channel, Snowman's Playground. Shogun Sam says, y'all got great taste. Yeah, you guys all do. As for me, I'm definitely a Breaking Benjamin guy. I also listen to Red and Starset. Starset's been super awesome. I feel like it's an evolution of all the kind of music I liked from the 2000s taken forward to its logical conclusion. What else do I listen to? I'm blanking. There's a bunch of other stuff I listen to as well, but those are the ones that come to mind right now. Nastalogic says they're available specifically on Steam Unlocked or on GOG Unlocked at just 680 megabytes. Oh my gosh, yeah, no, I'm definitely playing that then. How much is it right now?
Insufficient funds.
Alright, so go here and then undeploy, see what happens. Shogun Sam says, you didn't like New Colossus? Understandable. I never played it, so like I can't say I didn't like it necessarily. I just, based off of what I've seen, I just don't think it's a game I would enjoy. But going back to older Wolfenstein games, that I can get behind. Frostburn. I like Classic for John Smith joke. Beyond that, nah. There was a John Smith joke. There we go. Our rocket trooper's coming in clutch. Let's go. And just remind me how pathetic the Orca Fighter is in this game. Like I needed a reminder. Chase Baker says, BioWare titles like Dragon Age Inquisition for All Is One, Mass Effect 3 for Crucible, and Mass Effect Andromeda for the Great Unknown. Gotcha. My roommate, he's a big Mass Effect Andromeda... Sorry, not Andromeda. Mass Effect fan. And he got me the Mass Effect Remastered Collection for Xbox, I believe. And I played through the first... I started playing through the first one. I didn't finish it. I really need to. I did enjoy it. I'm thinking of starting over from scratch and either posting videos on my Playground channel or live streaming it so that you all can like make choices on what choices I make. I think that would be super fun. So I might do that if I start live streaming on the other channel. I might just do Mass Effect. Nostalgic. I mean, ever since Machine Games and Bethesda took over the series, it's been kind of a downfall with the new Colossus and Youngblood. Oh yeah, Youngblood sounded like it was just awful by any metric. The New Order and Old Blood are decent. Yeah, New Order and Old Blood I really enjoyed. And if you are singing the praises of Return to Castle Wolfenstein, which I have heard good things about before, I really want to check that out. Or Glusman. Dante Alighieri. Nice argument. Unfortunately, I wrote a book in which I'm the chatting you burn in hell. It really is. It really is. You gotta respect Dante. He just said what he wanted to say. Alright, let's get you guys up here. Let's just pop you in here while we're at it. Frostburn, me. Garrus is the best squad mate / bro. Rex 2. Absolutely. It was a fun game. I really should finish it. Number 1 rival. The New Order is great. Colossus is a narrative mess, even for Wolfenstein. Youngblood had potential, but was a missed opportunity. Yeah, fair. Fair. Number 1 rival. Old Blood is great. I really enjoyed Old Blood. It was a lot of fun, especially since like, New Order kind of stayed away from a lot of the supernatural stuff that I think the franchise is known for. So Old Blood was kind of a fun surprise for me. Of like, oh, we're doing some Nazi occult stuff, I guess. I get to fight zombies. Awesome. Nastologic. All of them can easily be downloaded for free. Just after downloading the main file, you can extract all the files from the main ones and then click on that icon and you're good to go. You talking about Wolfenstein?
Building.
Well, thank you guys all for being here for this stream. I really appreciate it.
Primary buildings.
I was looking forward to this weekend all week.
Unit, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Unit on my way. Sir.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
No, don't do that.
Building captured.
Hey, look, I'm building more Titans.
Building.
Engineering affirmative.
Building captured.
Shogun Sam says, you rule, so thank you. Aw, thanks, guys. Honestly, I've said this before, but, like, you guys are such a great community. I have never been able to talk about, like, history and tangential politics. Again, I don't want to talk about actual modern politics ever on this channel. But, like, other stuff that could very easily, people could get weird. And you all have been super respectful, super civil to each other. And it's not like we're a monolith either. I know there are people in here who have very different political views. But you've all been very kind to each other, very civil, and we've all just been able to just have fun playing an old 90s game. And I can't thank you guys enough
Base under attack.
for just not being crazy, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Unit ready.
Like a place where we can just chill and be normal on the internet without it immediately devolving into a fight. Honestly, is a breath of fresh air on the internet these days. So thank you so much for all being adults and being cool with each other. I really appreciate it.
Unit ready. Training.
Chase Baker says, Mass Effect Legendary is an amazing gift.
Building.
Rex has one of the greatest story arcs to explore throughout the 3 games and will even call you his friend. Yeah, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I kind of want to do a live stream with that on the other channel. Since I kind of do this like every other week, the weeks that I normally don't do this, maybe I'll just live stream doing Mass Effect on the other channel.
Unit ready.
If you guys feel like you'd be down for that. Up. Nastologic says, while The Return to Castle Wolfenstein is the best game for a single-player part, Enemy Territory is the best multiplayer game, taking elements from the original, which is why so many people play it to this day. Interesting.
Structures full. Unit ready.
Ha 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 ha. Frostburn said, it's your fault, Snow, for being a good person and more than a decent YouTube career. I appreciate that. A fear I've been having the last month or two is like, I'm going to get canceled for something that somebody's going to think I said out of context. It just feels inevitable. You either die a hero or you live long enough for yourself to be taken out of context and canceled. But hopefully we all just focus on Command and Conquer and we avoid anything like that. Or Gluesman. No, I talk about the HOI 4 alternate history mod Red Flood. Destroy the research facility. Mutants. Liars. GDI is trying to help us. You will die for this. Oh, the mutants are turning on us, I think. I think they figured out our ruse. It's an elaborate ruse. Why do they have Nod power plants? Does anybody know the in-universe reason for that?
Unable to comply. Unit lost. Construction complete.
Oh, sorry, mutants. We never liked you that much. Ugh. Senchat says, crazy? Yes, we are crazy on CNC. As well you should be. In the name of Cain. Benjamin Delphine says, you play very well this mission. I'm not playing as optimally as I probably should, but, you know. Do the component towers have more armor? Alright, let's just end this.
Mission accomplished.
That goes hard. It's probably one of my favorite nod cutscenes. They have very few in this game as far as like just victory cinematics. Let me know if you can still hear me. I want to make sure my mic still works. Shogun Sam says, well, Kane wouldn't want us to be immature. Frostburn says, normal people are a menace to today's world. I prefer a pariah with rules, morals, and decency. Thank you very much. Yep, the mutants are the enemies now. Yeah, I destroyed the facility with GDI. Titan's like, nope, GDI did it again, see? Alright. Forgotten there's such a cool faction like the Fremen. Yeah, I wish they were better explored. They kind of got really shafted in Command & Conquer 3. That really sucks. Oh, you're right, Mark Callanish. I completely forgot to use the missile. No! Whatever. Yeah, cutscene's great. Alright, we're just going to look at the cutscene for the next one. I'll start the next mission, save, and then we'll end here. Alright, moving on.
Should have known this would be a trap. I would have.
There's no antidote for Tiberian. Divination is death for the weak. Let's see how strong you are back at interrogation.
Tell me, Slavic, did your all-knowing God mention that you would die today?
I live for Kane, and I die for Kane. The difference is trivial.
How's it feel to be the guinea pig this time? Name is McNeil when they ask who beat you.
You have been taken to a high-security prison 70 miles south of Memphis. GDI presence is in full saturation. A small commando team is positioned by the north entrance of the facility. They will help you escape, but you must rescue Oksana and get to them first. The C4 in this device will detonate in 5 seconds.
Nice. Okay, that makes a lot more sense in universe. Yeah, no, GDI did not have a cure for Tiberian poisoning. That was just a ruse to get to Anton Slavic. Gosh, I love Michael Biehn. This pepper grinder will self-destruct in 2 seconds. Yeah, shot combo, nice. Yeah, that smile. That's when all the trouble started. That dang smile. Alright, let's see what they have to say.
A cyborg commando has been sent to retrieve you. Once free, rendezvous with your rescue team to the south. Use them to locate and free Oksana before she is transported to the main GDI facility. After she has been freed, Capture a GDI transport to make your escape.
Got it. Shogun Sam. Kyle Reese for the win. Alright, let's at least start this, save, and then we'll end.
Establishing battlefield control. Stand by.
Oh, I remember this mission. Villainous in distress, right? That was the worst inspection I've ever seen in my life.
Reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements have arrived. Unit lost.
Alright.
Reinforcements have arrived.
They spelled Slavic wrong there. Alright, Villainous in Distress. And we'll save it on Snowman 8. Let me read some of the chat here. Mindless Fire. Isn't there a joke on how the Forgotten are called the Forgotten because CNC forgot they existed? CNC 3, Kane's Wrath. ELA forgot they existed. Frostburn says Naughties have boxed in the truck. Shogun Sam says they deserve to suffer for their idiocy. Nastalogic says it all depends on how some systems are operating since I couldn't figure out how to install mods for a return to Castle Wolfenstein. Shot Combo says I don't think that GI Soldier is getting a Christmas bonus or any. Yeah. Shogun Sam says I just love the idea of the commando in the back and the guard says all clear. Honestly, like, I'll be real. If I was a GDI soldier, I opened up the back of a truck and saw a freaking 7-foot-tall cyborg commando, and it just looked at me and, like, put a finger to its mouth, like, shh. I would just say, you know what, I'm not getting paid enough for this. All clear. I'm not getting vaporized. Yeah, it can go in. I don't care. All right. Well, thank you guys all for watching. I really appreciate you being here. I gotta go. And we'll probably be back... I'm trying to remember if I'm doing anything next Saturday. Actually, I think I am. I think the D-Train is actually going to be in town, if you remember him from some of my other videos he's collabed on. He collabed on my Indiana Jones walkthrough. And he should be on the channel more since he's going to be around more. But yeah, I'm helping him out next weekend. So probably won't be a stream next weekend, but the weekend after, I'll be back. Appreciate you all being here. And if we ever get to the 3,000 subscribers... we'll do something special. I'll put a poll up to see what you guys want to do for the 3,000 subscribers, as well as just put in the comments what you would want to do for that celebration. Thank you so much for getting me to 3,000 subscribers when we get there. And I hope you all have a great, great rest of your weekend. How do I get to the end? I think it's, what does this button do?
Battle control offline.